DA.
Happy Thursday to you, North America. The mothership has connected. Welcome aboard. It's the 4-hour solar flare fiesta. DA with you from the CBS Sports Radio studios in New York City, broadcasting to affiliates nationwide and north of the border. Anchorage to Atlanta, Tahoe to Tallahassee, Kalamazoo, and Waterloo are on the air.
They listening, DA. Everything we saying, DA. Everything.
How we doing, everybody? Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you dropping on by. We come to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios. Need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family? Rocket can. Coming up this morning on the show, one of the great safeties in NFL history, Weapon X, Pro Football Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins, B-Doc, is going to join us coming up hour number 4. This hour, in 20 minutes, sound check. Oh, Russell Wilson, don't stop being yourself. Also in 40 minutes, could Yankee fans be the reason Aaron Judge walks? That's coming up this hour on the show. Let's begin with tonight's Thursday night football game, Buccaneers and Ravens. Bucs will be without 4 starters tonight, including defensive back Antoine Winfield, corner Carlton Davis, tight end Cameron Brate. Also, they'll be without their starting left guard, another receiver, Russell Gage, backup corner, Sean Murphy-Bunting, all have been ruled out. Julio Jones, game-time decision, battling a knee injury. Defensive lineman Akeem Hicks, also doubtful, Todd Bowles said. This is a dangerous spot for the Bucs. And as we all know, Tampa Bay's already taken on water on that pirate ship. The Bucs are 3-4. They have lost 4 of their last 5 games. They have dropped 2 in a row to 2 of the worst teams in football, the Steelers and the Panthers. And looking at tonight, if the Bucs lose tonight at home against the Ravens, would it be fair to scratch off their season and say it is over tonight? That's where we begin. Your cold open.
Playing with leads are great. That's obviously what you want to do every week. And, you got to earn your way to a lead. I think that's the important part. It's just, you don't start the game up 7-0 or 14-0. You got to go do something about it. So I think we got to focus on what we have to do in order to get the ball down the field and score a point. We haven't scored a lot of points. So, I think we scored like 19 points or something like that a game. So it's not good enough by, what we're trying to accomplish. So however you get it in, run it, throw it. The objective is to score more points than the other team. So we just haven't done a great job with it, thus far.
I don't believe it!
The most amazing, sensational, dramatic, heart-rending.
It's DA's top story.
Here he goes.
It's your cold open.
Brady's actually being a little generous to himself. They're averaging less than 18 points per game, which is not only 26th in the NFL, but the worst points per game average of Tom Brady's career. Through 7 games, his offense has never been this impotent. Also, running the football. The Buccaneers are dead last in the NFL with less than 65 rushing yards per game. That's incredibly poor. So tonight, this is a tough spot. They do not feel good. They are not healthy. They are not with any momentum. They cannot run the football. And they take on a team in the Ravens that's clearly a playoff caliber team, even if they're not quite at that Super Bowl level that it looks like right now both the Bills and the Chiefs are in the AFC. However, I will say there is some hope because even if the Bucs lose tonight, I still don't believe their season is effectively over. First of all, look at that division. They have the great benefit of playing in one of the worst divisions in football. In fact, it might be the single worst division in the NFL because the Bucs actually lead the NFC South at 3-4 by virtue of that head-to-head tiebreaker against the Falcons. They'll play again, but the Bucs and the Falcons are both 3-4, and they are tied atop the NFC South. The Panthers at 2-5, the Saints at 2-5. That's how gruesome it's been. If the Bucs were in the NFC North and the Vikings were 5-1, or to the NFC East and the Eagles are 6-0 and the Giants are 6-1, it'd be a different story. But you cannot rule out the Bucs season even with a loss tonight because 3-5 seemingly is still not out of it in the NFC South. Number two, if we go back to their Super Bowl year, we have to remember that they were not great in the first half of the season. They went on a run down the stretch and then, of course, won 4 playoff games. But that was a Bucs team that was 7-5 and in November had lost 3 of 4 games. The difference is when they lost 3 of 4 games that November, they had lost to 3 very good teams. The Saints, who they battled with all season long with the division and ultimately would have to face in the playoffs. They lost to the Rams, again, a very talented team, a playoff caliber team. And then the Chiefs they lost to, and ultimately they would get their revenge in the Super Bowl. So even though that did not look good once we got into early December for the Buccaneers, their Super Bowl season, it still was better than this. But it is at least an indicator that hovering around 500, not being on a win streak, losing some games, not feeling great about yourself, that can actually not be a death knell even as we get through Thanksgiving and beyond. The issue is that Bucs team was more talented than this Bucs team. That Bucs team had Tom Brady at 43. This Bucs team is Tom Brady at 45. That Bucs team had Bruce Arians and his offensive mind. This Bucs team has Bruce Arians, who's playing golf most of the day and kind of hanging around. That Bucs team did not have the problems this one does on the offensive line. That Bucs team also had a number of really talented players for a couple of seasons, but didn't quite know how to put it all together and were kind of ready to pop off. This Bucs team has had a lot of talent depart, and they're trying to kind of tape it together with veterans and players that are coming in because of injuries and the retirement of a significant piece in Rob Gronkowski. So that Bucs team is different than this Bucs team, and that's why tonight a loss is significant. It does not end the Bucs season, but it obviously is significant. I think this Bucs team showed us last week who they really are. They're not as bad as that as to lose 21-3 to the worst team in football every week, but they have that potential. And the 2020 Bucs team did not. That 2020 team would have never lost last week's game. No chance. And I think that there's a bit of a fire that has flickered with Tom Brady. It's obviously not all of his fault, but Brady has a composure right now that feels a little bit like he's defeated. There's a little bit of that even when he goes to the podium, there's a little bit of going through the motions, just saying the cliched things that he has said for 20 years, even though now they're not all that believable. They've got Todd Bowles as the head coach, and clearly he doesn't know how to fix an offense. They've got an offensive line that's dealt with retirements and injuries coming into the season, and even more now during the season. They can't run the football. And Again, there's an element of this that just feels like they're wheezing to the finish line in the Tom Brady Bucs era. This is a really tough matchup tonight. And while 3-5 doesn't extinguish their hopes, it has told us a lot about the Bucs, who they are through the first half of the year. We'll see if they can actually rebound tonight on a good Thursday night matchup on Amazon Prime. 855-212-4CBS on Twitter, DA on CBS. And let's talk about the Ravens for a second here, because talk about disrespect. The Buccaneers, with all of their issues, are actually favored in this game by about 1.5 points. Now, I know the Ravens have had some bad losses this year. The way that they couldn't finish against the Giants, the blown big lead against the Dolphins, the blown lead against the Bills. Yes, there's some aggravating losses this season. But at least the Ravens have lost 3 games to winning ball clubs. At least they've lost 2 of their games to 2 of the best records in football in the Giants and the Bills. For the Ravens to be the underdogs tonight, a grand disrespect for Baltimore. The Ravens are the better football team. They really are. But this is a play on when will the Bucs wake up? When will it happen? And my bet is it's not tonight. If the Bucs didn't wake up the last 2 weeks, if the Bucs didn't wake up against the Panthers, I'm not sure why I'm going to buy that the Bucs are going to show up tonight, wake up after a short week, and all of those injuries. I don't see it. I think the Ravens get the win tonight. Again, hit us up on Twitter, DA on CBS. And just as a quick dovetail into the Tom Brady thing, look, Tom Brady has been the barometer, the standard of success, the great one for the better part of 25 years. We've got to go back to 2001 when he finally gets that gig with an injured Drew Bledsoe, goes on to win a Super Bowl. And he had established himself by 2003 as the guy when they win their second in 3 years. He is also a Super Bowl MVP in 2003. That very same fall, a young man had skipped college and was the number 1 pick of the NBA draft, LeBron James. And LeBron begins his 20-year odyssey to 4 NBA championships and so many other NBA finals, and one of the great careers in NBA history, arguably the greatest career in NBA history. Those 2 guys intersected with their expectations and greatness at almost the same exact time. And today, the Bucs could fall to 3-5, and the Lakers are 0-4. It's amazing if you match up almost like tracing paper over one another, the arcs of their careers. Now, LeBron's a much better player today than Tom Brady is, and LeBron still has probably 2 good years. Let's give him this year and next year. Tom Brady's got 8 more games left, 9 more games left, and that's about it. And even that's not good. But if you place them over one another, the ascent to greatness happens almost simultaneously right around 2003, even though LeBron wouldn't get to NBA Finals for a few years. I mean, LeBron, right at the outset of his rookie season, is very obviously one of the great players at that age that we had ever seen. You're like, well, that's a difference maker right there. And LeBron had all of this hype, all of these expectations. You could just see how he was so different. And for 20 years, those 2 guys won everything, dominated everything, and were the torch. And today, I mean, move aside. The Lakers are one of the worst teams in basketball. The Bucs are one of the worst teams in football, seemingly. And neither one is having a happy ending. When we come back here on the show, your best audio of the day. Robert Quinn traded from the Bears to the Eagles, And there's some emotions happening inside the Bears locker room.
So many different emotions on so many different levels.
Also, you know how the Broncos are going to London? Oh, you didn't because you don't care about the Broncos? Well, the Broncos are going to London to take on the Jaguars on Sunday morning, and I'm sure you could imagine just how non-annoying Russell Wilson was on that 8-hour flight. Let's talk about that coming up here next. Huh? DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're enough.
Where is this going?
Where's this going? Oh no.
It's only part of it, too.
That's Mraz's OnlyFans account, by the way.
Yeah. Where's this going? Oh no. Oh no.
And obviously the words take us to the negative.
God.
But the noise is the panting. We've heard that in a positive way about food, too. Cupcake.
Where's this going? Oh no. Oh no.
And that wasn't looped.
I make the same sounds when Danielle's baking Christmas cookies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's this going?
Oh my God, it's Blair Witch Project for piggies.
The Blair Sandwich Project.
The Blair Sandwich Project. Oh God. Ben McAdoo's offense. Fourth quarter against the Eagles. Oh God. Daniel Jones. Oh, 3rd and 14.
Where's this going?
Where's that pass going?
Oh
no. We're taking a knee again? Where's this going?
Oh God.
3rd and 9 from our own 5. They're taking a knee. Kenny Golladay, healthy scratch again.
Breathing.
Dana Mechanicsburg needs somewhere to sleep.
Where's this going? Oh no.
Do I offer my parents' bedroom to a complete stranger that is driven in from the middle of Pennsylvania?
Oh no.
What could Dan? What images could Dan imagine in his mind in my parents' bedroom?
Oh no.
That's horrible.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Happy Halloween, everybody. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
CBS presents this program in color.
An educated person can't think he's going to get a recruit by strippers coming in.
They can fire you, but they can't eat you.
And they run through our ass like through a tin horn, man, and we could not stop them.
The audio you need to hear. It's DA's Soundcheck.
All right, welcome back. There's a brand new PGP out, the Spooktacular recap. Yesterday's show was amazing with Katie Lindahl in studio. Everybody dressed up, fantastic costumes. We always love the Spooktacular. Check out the PGP, the Spooktacular recap, by going to the DA Show's podcast feed, all places that your podcasts are available. Just search the DA Show or Permission Granted Podcasts. The Bears trade away pass rusher Robert Quinn to the Philadelphia Eagles yesterday. The Eagles trade away a 4th rounder for him. Bears linebacker Roquan Smith, emotional talking about it.
Sucks. Yeah, like. I'm going to take a second for a second, if you don't mind. No, I have a great deal of respect for that guy, you know. Damn. Crazy.
So many different emotions on so many different levels.
Imagine that kick in the butt where the Bears just go to Foxborough on Monday night. They actually have their best performance of the season. The defense picks off Bailey Zappi 3 times. Well, total on the night. There's a number of big plays by the defense. Nearly had a pick 6. Some game-changing plays. Silenced the crowd. Bears finally feeling good. Could run the football. And in the same week, a couple of days later, 2 days, 48 hours later, they trade away one of their best players, Robert Quinn. You could understand the emotion. Like, damn. Now, look, the Bears aren't going anywhere anyway this season. People are talking about Robert Quinn as this kind of final piece for the Eagles. Yes and no. I mean, the Eagles are already really good. They already have a really good pass rush. Quinn adds to that. And he only fetched a 4th rounder because he only had 1 sack this year, coming off 18.5 sacks last year, only 1 this year. Who knows? Maybe Quinn's a little washed right now. Maybe just not as effective as he once was. It's a good deal for the Eagles because you only trade away a 4th, but I think the bigger story is that the Bears understand season's over. We're going to trade away our players. And look, maybe Quinn didn't fit with Eberflus's scheme as much, but that's got to be a kick in the you-know-what when you come off your biggest win of the season and 2 days later they trade away one of your best players. Here is Russell Wilson. Now, from Denver to London, it's about an 8-hour trek, okay? 8-hour flight. So, hey, Russ, what'd you do? Watch a few movies, get some sleep, maybe read a book or 2, listen to some music, maybe listen to an audiobook, podcasts. What'd you do, Russ, on those 8 hours?
I don't really get jet lag too often. You know, I don't really, I've traveled enough to get, kind of get my system down. But yeah, for me, I was on the plane. The first 2 hours, I was, about 8 hours flight here. That's the first 2 hours I was watching the film, watching all the cut-ups and everything else. And then for the next 4 hours, I was doing treatment on the plane. I was walking up and down the aisles. Everybody was knocked out. I was doing high knees and working on my legs and everything else, making sure I'm ready to rock. So that was good. And then the last 2 hours, the last hour of that, I fell asleep for 1 hour, and I watched the film the rest.
So, Russell Wilson's the worst airline passenger ever. He's the guy walking up and down the aisle for 4 hours doing high knees?
It's called the Danger Witch.
Give me a crying baby.
Dangerously good.
What's worse, crying baby for 4 hours or Russell Wilson high knees for 4 hours in the aisle?
Crying baby, because after a while you could block that out. I would be so distracted every, 5 minutes when he finally passes my seat doing the high knees.
You'd rather have a crying baby for 4 hours right next to you or right behind you than Russell Wilson high knees.
I say that seriously because I find occasional distraction more distraction than a constant buzzing of a crying baby. Not that I want the crying baby, but it's almost like you would resettle yourself after Russ would pass you and then have to be like jerked back away because here he comes at high knees.
Russell Wilson high knees for 4 hours on a transcontinental flight, a transatlantic flight, is just the single most Russell Wilson thing ever. You're just like, oh, just sit down, Russ. Oh, just go to bed, Russ. Go, give me a break, Russ. Also, I haven't traveled enough to be jet lagged. You're married to Sierra. You're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. You've never traveled anywhere where you could be jet lagged. I mean, even going from Seattle to an East Coast game, you've never been jet lagged?
Well, he's the quarterback that played for the team that has the most mileage per travel per year.
Your wife you called a global icon yesterday. She hasn't had a performance in Paris, a performance somewhere else, South Korea, nowhere where you've been there and been like, oh, I'm a little jet lagged because I'm 12 hours ahead of my body clock.
You've done anything dangerous?
You've never been jet lagged, ever. Give me a break. Russ is unbelievable. I mean, how aggravating everything he does. My God. Shut up. And finally, our colleague Craig Carton on the local airwaves, WFAN, yesterday afternoon, thought he was reading a Peter Schwartz Twitter account. However,
it just wasn't funny.
There was no joke. It was
so
just...
I go on Twitter and I write, great idea, but can you make it funny next time?
I agree with you.
So Peter Schwartz responds, this man's is, you moron.
This man's
is still salty. He doesn't get the morning radio slot. Who's he talking about?
Wow, I think he's talking about you.
Do you?
Who else would he be talking about? Morash?
I don't know.
He's not talking about Izzo. Wow, that's an attack.
Is that an attack?
He attacked you.
Hey, do me a favor. Call up Peter Schwartz and find out if that's towards me.
Well, why wouldn't it be?
I don't know.
I mean, unless I'm misinterpreting this completely.
By the way, why would it be?
Why would it be?
I think it's a fake account. He's got 6 followers.
Yeah, I don't think that's the real
Peter
Peter
has more
Schwartz.
than that.
Got fooled by a fake Peter Schwartz.
Use your noodle.
You bozo. Fooled.
now, first of all, they were talking about Mraz's Brian Daboll video yesterday.
Hey, I'm Peter Schwartz.
Daboll and Mraz and Daboll obviously look like one another. Mraz went as Daboll yesterday for Halloween, did a video. They posted it about him kind of acting like Daboll with Tiki, and that's what Carton is saying is not funny. Let's start here. Mraz, did you find the video funny?
Yeah, I found it really funny. I think that might have been some of my best work.
Really?
I thought that some of my supporting cast needed a little help.
Who, Tiki?
The Tiki was fine. The Tiki kind of stepped over a couple of my lines. I was the lead character there. I thought the producer, Pete Hoffman, we had to do multiple takes with him. He's in the video as well. But I went home from that, watching that video, saying, I might have something here acting-wise. I really do believe that. I know you guys, here we go, roll your eyes or whatever. But if you look, I kind of have the mannerisms down. I think a lot of my, quick-witted lines there. I thought it was some of my best work, personally. But go ahead, have at me and eat me.
Oh.
Dames, man, you've been crushing it, man. Awesome. I love it.
Just feed it to 26 like we do with
post-show.
Didn't change his voice, didn't sound like Brian Daboll, just said the things that Brian Daboll might say over and over again in a very standard one-note voice. And you,
Dames, man, you've been crushing it, man.
I changed my voice a little bit.
Oh, you didn't.
Okay, do Brian Daboll for me.
We're just going to keep feeding 26 the ball here, Teak.
That's the same line.
But now I talk like this.
That's great.
It's a subtle change. Dable sort of sounds like me, too.
The only thing you said yesterday was that line.
Got to feed 26.
But that's kind of the bit that I'm going to keep saying the same line.
Okay, do you have anything else?
Well, then at the end of that, you believe the disrespect around here? He's a Jets fan. I respond. Makes sense.
That's your acting? That's what enlightened you to this great acting career?
It's the eye roll I gave with it.
I see.
There's subtleties in acting, Damon.
Yeah, I've heard. So Craig Carton did not think it's funny. Second part of this story is there's a fake Schwartz account?
There's 4 fake Schwartz accounts.
How could that be? None of us have fake accounts. He's got 4 of them?
Because this all stemmed from him begging to be verified. And the thought was you can't get verified unless there are, people faking to be you. And then that led down the theory of did Schwartz create his own fake accounts, which we found out we didn't. And there are multiple fake Schwartz accounts stemming from this whole thing.
Hey, I'm Peter Schwartz.
That's amazing.
You gotta go follow those accounts. That should be funny.
There's 4 Schwartz dummy accounts.
I mean, there were. I got to still see, but I know at one point there were 4. I happen to know 2 of them.
Is one of them yours?
Oh, not mine. Not mine. I can't reveal, but I knew that two people around here had them.
Oh my God.
Not understanding because you're stupid.
That's incredible. All right, that's your sound check this morning here on the show.
What matters is our plan.
Hey, check this out. Andrew Bogusch, a kind sir, is out, which means for the first time in months, a long, long time, since prior to baseball season, where he acted as the Mets pre- and post-game host in the building on News Radio 880 here on the CBS Sports Radio floor, is our friend, dessert coordinator, Brad Heller. Brad, good morning.
Good morning. DA, it's good to be back. It's been like 7 months.
Been a long time since you've been here.
Long time.
Well, we'll have to get some Halloween candy suggestions from you since you're the dessert
I'm
coordinator.
ready. I was in a drugstore yesterday and just checking out the aisles, what's still there.
Okay.
As we get closer to the big day.
Are we still calling them drugstores like that?
Pharmacies, drugstores. Yeah, what's a CVS? It's a drugstore.
I guess you refer to them by their names usually. You don't really hear
True.
drugstore anymore. It's very old school.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm old school. I'm all just about the candy. I only go to the drugstore for the candy.
We're going to play Gorge, Marry, Kill with Heller at some point in time.
Oh.
We played this game with Katie Lindendahl, and there's 3 different Halloween candies. One you gorge on, one you marry for life, one you have to kill off forever.
Okay.
Okay.
I did the Oreo.
Okay, we'll do that a little bit later on in the morning. However, at this moment, Brad Heller has our headline.
All right, DA, we're sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. Bundle today at progressive.com. Week 8 in the NFL is here. The 3-4 Bucks host the 4-3 Ravens in the Thursday night game in Tampa. It is a battle of first-place teams, but it really doesn't feel like it, especially for Tampa. The Bucks have lost 4 out of 5. The problem is slow starts this season. Tom Brady and company have been outscored 34-15 in the first quarter.
Playing with leads are great. That's obviously what you want to do every week. And, you got to earn your way to a lead. I think that's the important part. It's just, you don't start the game up 7-0 or 14-0. You got to go do something about it. So I think we got to focus on what we have to do in order to get the ball down the field and score points.
The Bucs are going to be missing a ton of guys for this one. On defense, in the secondary, Antoine Winfield Jr. and corner Carlton Davis, also tight end Cam Brate, receiver Russell Gage, among others. The Eagles pulled off the trade with the Bears yesterday to get veteran pass rusher Robert Quinn, giving up a 4th-round pick. The Eagles, coming off the bye, will host the Steelers Sunday, while the Bears are going to take on the Cowboys, maybe without Ezekiel Elliott. He might not play for Dallas because of a knee injury. The Patriots are reportedly going to stick with Mac Jones as the starting quarterback Sunday against the Jets over Bailey Zappi, although Bill Belichick will not make that official. On to the NBA, one undefeated team left, and it is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Here's a handoff to Giannis. Giannis with a head full of steam, lays it out the window with a foul. He comes away, flexing his right bicep, puffing that chest out. And why not? The Greek Freak has 35.
That's Dave Kane on Bucks Radio. Giannis scored 43, 34 in the second half as the Bucks beat the Nets 110-99. Steve Nash ejected for the first time as a head coach. He picked up back-to-back technical fouls in the third quarter. He was upset. He thought Giannis hit Nets guard Patty Smith in the throat. Patty Mills, excuse me, and he thought it was in front of the officials.
Imagine hitting Patty Smith.
Yeah, Patty Smith. That'd be
even worse.
That'd be worse.
I don't know how old she is at this point.
And what is she doing on a basketball court?
I don't know.
That's another story.
Halftime performance.
But Steve Nash certainly as mild-mannered as they come and thrown out there in Milwaukee. The Lakers 0-4 as they fell to the Nuggets 110-99. Not since LeBron's rookie year as he had this kind of a start.
What did you see as the difference in that third quarter when Denver made their push?
At one point, we was outscored 29-11.
Yeah, the Lakers not making enough shots. They haven't done it all season.
Great thought.
Pretty straightforward there from LeBron. Lakers were 8 for 30 from three-point range last night. LeBron 2 of 8 himself. The Blazers, their first loss as they fell to the Heat at home 119-98. Damian Lillard left that one with a strained calf. The Sixers 1-4 to begin the season as they fell at home to the Raptors 119-109. Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler, they're going to start games 1 and 2 of the World Series, respectively, for the Phillies, Friday and Saturday in Houston.
Nola tomorrow night, Wheeler game 2?
Yes.
Okay.
And Justin Verlander expected to be the game 1 starter for Houston, although the Astros have not made that official yet.
So basically the Phillies have to win one of these 2 games in Houston because that's their 2 best shots, and they got to try to win one on the road to get a split there.
That's not necessarily true because what do you got? McCullers and who was the other idiot that shut down the Yankees? Who's not that good, but the Yankees suck. Javier, yeah, they're gonna pitch in Philly. That crowd will be rocking. I mean, I could see a scenario the Phillies lose the first 2 in Houston, and that series is still 2 up going into Game 5.
Okay.
That's tomorrow night, Game 1. Yeah,
tomorrow night. Finally. My God.
I know.
I woke up today going, we still don't have a game tonight.
Yeah, but at least it's good because you avoid them playing on Sunday.
Well, they purposefully did that. They didn't want to play Thursday night against Thursday Night Football. Don't want to play Sunday against the NFL.
The right move.
Yes and no. I mean, with the way that these games wrapped up on Sunday, they could have started playing on Tuesday and played the 2 games Tuesday, Wednesday, and also avoided football.
Well, that's what's funny. They crammed the schedule together earlier. Remember, there wasn't going to be a day off late in the division series. It was going to have to be like, I think, we're talking about if it was going to be the Mets and the Dodgers, for example, or whoever it would have been. They would have had to play games 3 and 4 and then no day off between 4 and 5, and they would have had to go cross country. All that stuff because of the expanded playoffs, and now here we are waiting 5 days for the World Series.
Yeah, they crunched this whole thing together because of the 15-day lockout early in the spring training. So that's part of their bad luck here. Bad luck, or they made their own luck there. At the same time, it is bad luck that they had this planned to not go against football, and then we had an entire week because they both wrapped up in 4 and 5.
That's interesting. See, I felt very baseballed out after Sunday. Part of it was my team getting knocked out. Now I'm ready to watch again. I would not have been ready Tuesday and Wednesday.
Boy, I woke up today and said, we still don't have a game tonight? I mean, this has been a long layoff.
I guess.
But you're talking no football because of football Sunday. I mean, the game is going to be after 8 o'clock anyway. So you're only going up against one game, and you're going to go up against the Monday night game anyway.
But think about it. They had a huge moment, and I feel like nobody saw it with Bryce Harper hitting the homer Sunday.
Maybe. You also don't want to go up against Sunday Night Football because it is traditionally like 24 of the 25 most watched TV programs of the year.
But Monday night Football's up there too, isn't it?
I don't know if it's as dominant as Sunday Night Football.
It's not on network TV.
True.
Right.
One other baseball note, the Yankees, after getting swept by the Astros, Aaron Boone is going to be back as manager next season, according to owner Hal Steinbrenner, who told the Associated Press yesterday that after they signed him last year to a 3-year deal, he thinks Boone is a good manager. As for GM Brian Cashman, his contract expires at the end of the month. Steinbrenner told the AP they've had preliminary conversations, but, quote, we haven't talked about anything yet.
All right, thank you, Brad. Thankfully, Patty Smith was not harmed last night.
She's a warrior.
She's 75 years old.
I'm sorry to put Patty Smith in a state and a situation that she didn't want to be involved with.
Shooting at the walls of heartache, bang, bang. I am the warrior. I am the warrior. Heart to heart, you'll win if you survive.
Could she survive against Giannis? Well, we'll never know.
Steve Nash should have been pissed if Giannis put a forearm into Patty Smith's throat. That I would have been pissed too.
Definitely would have been.
That I am upset. She's 75 years old, Giannis.
Right in front of the official.
Poor woman. I know you want to win, but come on. Poor woman. She sang Warrior.
Here to entertain you. Come on.
When we come back here on the show, did Yankee fans put the nail in the coffin of Aaron Judge as a Yankee? DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Like we do with you, man.
Makes me proud to be a Giant.
I appreciate it, T.
Hey, you know my producer? This is Coach Dable.
This is Brian Dable.
It's Coach to you, chump. Believe the disrespect around here?
Forget him. He's a Jets fan.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Dabes, man, you've been crushing it, man. Awesome.
Thanks,
I love it.
Honor. Just feed it to 26 like we do with you, man.
Makes me proud to be a Giant.
I appreciate it, T.
Hey, you know my producer? This is Coach Dable.
This is Brian Dable.
It's Coach to you, chump. Believe the disrespect around here?
Forget him. He's a Jets fan.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I led CBS Sports Radio in picks. I'm going to lead them again. The morning's going to be represented. Your cute little evenings with Gus Farrat are being doomed. Zach, you start dressing like Matt Rule now. You're toast.
You look at me here, bozo. You ready? You're going down. You got no shot. You're going to wish you never did this. Look inside your shirt, all right? Look inside your shirt!
Oh! Humiliated!
I'm a lover, not a fighter. You're going down 2022.
You're losing. It's over. It's over before it started.
You're going to be he who shall not be named by the end of this.
Oh, please. Give me a break. You can't even say that with a straight face.
I can't look at you seriously. I'm trying here.
We got it?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, I didn't expect you to grab my shirt. That was good.
Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Little wet, little drippy 24/7. It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
My friend David Schultz, a.k.a. Schultz, he tweets, leave it to DA to confuse Patty Smith and Patty Smith. Alan tweets, the Warrior was sung by Patty Smith in Scandal, not Patty Smith. Wait a second, now you're confusing me. There's a Patty Smith with an I, a Patty Smith with a Y, 165, 175. They're both old ladies, okay? Either one, if Giannis elbowed them in the throat, it's a foul, and Steve Nash should be upset.
Yeah, how did they know what Patty Smith
We were
screwed
talking
up
about.
with? Yeah.
I am the warrior, heart to heart, you'll win if you survive. That's right. So, did you see this story? That, by the way, you can watch the show at watchda.com, watch on Twitch, watch on YouTube as well. Later on in the show, we'll have Brian Dawkins joining us here on the program. Always watch the DA show. You can do that on your phone. So Yankee fans were pretty ruthless towards the Yankees in games 3 and 4 back in the Bronx in the ALCS. Yankees offense was dreadful. Tickets by game 4 had plummeted. You could get into the building for less than $20. Yankee fans were booing. Yankee fans were pretty relentless on the Yanks. And the report was that multiple Yankees players were taken aback by just how negative it was. And they couldn't believe that even Aaron Judge was being booed. And they said Josh Donaldson, who was an underachiever all season and very difficult to embrace, he's not an easy guy to like, even he had become a sympathetic figure inside the clubhouse because he was being booed mercilessly by the fans. And I thought, boy, that Yankee fans were so ruthless that Yankee players were like, damn. And one Major League Baseball executive said, look, I understand their frustration, but he said, you know, how arrogant, how smug are they that you got a guy in Aaron Judge, they're booing him. So it made me wonder if Aaron Judge looked at that and said, I'm out of here, because we know he's going to become a free agent. We wonder where he's going to sign, but there's going to be suitors lined up. And if he ends up hitting 62 home runs and single-handedly carrying the team through August and September, and he's still getting booed in the playoffs, do you go, I'm not being appreciated around here? Now, Mraz will tell you, good riddance, we don't need you, smell you later. But I don't know. I think Yankee fans got to be careful here because he's one of the best players of the last 25 years in that franchise's history. And without him, I'm not sure you get to the ALCS. I know you don't get to the ALCS. And they might have shot themselves in the foot. It was a bad look, apparently, for the Yankee fans. And I don't mind being hard on your team and booing your team, but it sounds like the Yankees themselves thought it was unfair. I would just warn Yankee fans that careful what you wish for, because you say you don't want this guy, that guy, boo this guy. Well, what's it going to look like when you end up, missing the playoffs because the Blue Jays win the division? I mean, do you want that? Is that better?
Good. If that's what finally gets Hal the Filer manager and general manager, it'd be better. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if a guy really leaves because they don't want to get booed, then they don't belong in Major League Baseball either. Joe DiMaggio, Derek Jeter, they all got booed by Yankee fans. Booing means we think you're great and we don't expect failure. That's it. And Judge knows this. He's been around for years. I'm not buying for a second that if Aaron Judge leaves, it's because of that. If he leaves, it's because he wants to go back home to California.
You could understand, though. I mean, look, if you're Aaron Judge going, I just had the greatest season for a hitter ever, and I'm getting booed.
Did he not get cheered for every one of his 62 homers? So it's okay to get cheered when you do well, but not booed when you do terrible?
But that's
Again?
how it flips. I mean, nobody even remembers the 62 home runs.
Not remembering.
They only remember that you went 0 for 3 tonight?
0 for 3 tonight? The guy had like 2 hits the whole postseason. Stunk. Absolutely stunk.
You said you don't care if he leaves.
I really don't, because I don't think he's a big performer on the big stage.
What a pig.
I'm not a pig. I know what championship teams look like. And Aaron Judge...
How? It's been so long.
Exactly. And Aaron Judge right now has been the face of failure for a feudal Yankee organization the last few years. And,
Look,
by the way...
up in the sky, it's a turd. It's a swine. It's Super Pig.
I don't care about 62 homers. I don't care about it if it means you're just going to flail away and lose to the same team over and over again. It's like watching a movie that you hated the ending of, but you keep watching the movie and keep getting mad about the ending. It's the same ending to the same movie with Aaron Judge's Yankees.
The only reason why they were there was because of Aaron Judge. I don't know.
I'd rather not be there than have my you-know-what's kicked in by the Astros again.
Have fun not being there when he's not a Yankee.
That's fine, Pete. You didn't watch the playoffs this year. I don't have to either.
Has nothing to do with that. The point is, the guy is an MVP player. He's a leader on the team, and you guys are treating him like a bum.
Leading him where? Nowhere. They lose every year. Houston, Boston, every year.
One of the final 4 teams of the league is something.
Yeah. Guess what? We don't end up getting guys like Machado and Harper who hit for their teams in the playoffs because we trade for Stanton. Judge and him are the same exact player. How many guys you need that only do is hit home runs and strike out? How many of the same guy you need?
Aaron Judge single-handedly dragged a carcass of a team into the playoffs, and you want to run him out of town.
I don't want to run him out of town. I want him back, but if that's why he leaves, I don't care. Good riddance then. Then you weren't built to be here anyway.
When we come back here on the DA Show, USC, UCLA headed to the Big Ten, but do their fans want that?
You're in a 5-minute break.
We just do the, but you would have to find some kind of cooling portion on that indoor part to keep that part frozen. It makes sense in my head. I'm telling you, I may not be conveying
Only
that the
in
right
your
way on
head.
the radio.
So you are. So you think that there would be a large body of water, a pond or a lake that is water, but you could somehow put a cabin on top of the water, and under that it would be frozen.
Right, like you could rope off an area and build that on dry ice on top, and then you're like a thin cabin.
Okay, so you would go from a dock in some type of kayak or boat, motorboat, over the lake. You would be in actual water. Get to the cabin, step up onto dry ice,
right?
Which the cabin would be planted upon.
Yeah, now there would be like a layer of buoys or something, I would assume, like to keep, because obviously the dry ice would melt on the regular water from the salt. So you need to find some kind of, like, this technology. I mean, they drill freaking tunnels.
From the salt, but these are freshwater ponds and lakes.
There's no salt in all the lakes?
Well, they're freshwater.
What does that mean? They're just fresh. There's still salt in them. The river that runs past, wherever, has salt in it, but it's fresh because it's new water.
You think that it's saltwater rivers?
Where is the eject button? How did we get out of this?
Everything except your pools is salt water, except the filtered stuff we drink and shower with.
So you think when we drive by a pond on Long Island or in New Jersey, that's a saltwater pond?
Yeah, you can't drink that.
Well, okay, yes, you wouldn't want to drink
What? Have
it.
you ever heard of Salt Lake City? Duh.
Dear Tom Dundon, can you shut down Sean today as well?
Are you?
Are you serious?
So you?
Yes.
you
every lake and river and pond funnels into an ocean somewhere. It's called the system. Okay, that's the. The Mississippi River runs up all of the United States. That's how we had the French Quartet Purchase thing. Do you remember that?
Quartet Purchase.
Whatever that
Were
was.
those singers?
The French Quartet Purpose.
Whatever,
Okay.
but that's how it separated when we went to the Western frontier. You telling me that somehow in the process of going from the South Gulf of Mexico up to Minnesota's lakes, wherever it filters out the Mississippi River, you're telling me the salt just dissolves in that river?
Yep.
No, the salt connects into every system.
Nope.
Okay, so when you go to Lake George in upstate New York,
Sure.
do you think that that's a salt lake? Do you think that's like salty?
Yeah, it got salt because it got pumped. Like, it's not just still, it pumps in and funnels in from all the oceans. The oceans flow into all of our water systems. You can't tell me the salt just like, whoa, what
So how do you think you get drinking water? Why do you think your drinking water is not salty?
Filtration systems.
Can we check with your mom to see if she's embarrassed yet of you?
I think I'm right here.
Is she on hold? Yeah, you're not even a little bit right. In fact,
So explain where the salt goes.
My
Explain where the salt goes.
My 7-year-old
I don't want the 7-year-old joke. Explain where the salt goes.
It's not.
No.
It's
Explain where the salt
reality.
goes.
My
Explain
daughter
where the salt goes.
is in second
okay,
grade.
you keep going on with your
and
daughter
she
thing, but you can't explain where the salt goes
She
because you're wrong.
understands the difference between fresh water and salt water, and
So
how
where does the salt go?
in your French fries.
Exactly. You have no answer. You have funny wit and all that, but you have no answer.
No, it's not wit.
Because
You
I just
are an
blew your
idiot.
freaking mind.
No, you didn't.
Because I just blew your
Someone
mind.
blew your mind a long time ago, and that's why it doesn't work.
The
still.
Atlantic Ocean meets the Pacific Ocean through different rivers and channels and everything. Where does the salt go?
That's not correct.
Where does
Lewis
the
and
salt
Clark.
go? The Amazon, the Allegheny, they all connect somewhere.
They don't.
This is great.
Nope, they don't. They don't.
You are listening to a 12 DA of Christmas in action.
This is the entire year of the buffoon.
This is my last day
This
here.
is it. You think the Amazon and the Allegheny connect?
No, like not directly, obviously, but all the water in this universe connects.
Just in essence, they connect.
So if you went fishing in a pond in upstate New York or out of New Jersey, you think if you put a cup of water in there, it'd be salty?
Yes!
How could you be such an idiot?
He also
Where does it go then?
Have you never tasted water in a pond or a lake
because
or a
I know
river?
not to drink salt water. I've been in enough freaking canoes.
Okay, I got to get to the update here.
How do you fix 3 decades of failure?
Education is so horrendously
He doesn't have an
awful.
education.
It's kind of impossible to even put your finger on.
But his mom is proud.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Mornings are hard. Your sports radio show doesn't have to be.
I'm so happy you guys are still alive.
I am excited.
I am so happy. Laugh and learn every morning aboard the mothership.
Ooh. Have a good day. And all my homies wanna ride today. And all these mommies look fly today. And all we wanna do is get by today. Hey, we're gonna have a good day.
It's gonna be a good day with DA.
Hey, duh.
I do love the da.
Happy Being Alive Day.
Mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah! Welcome inside a Thursday morning edition of The Da. We come to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios. Whether you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance yours, Rocket Mortgage can help you get there for home loan solutions that fit your life. Rocket can. Coming your way in 20 minutes, it's a Thirsty Thursday. What are we toasting to, boys and girls? What's the good stuff? Huh?
Well, I feel good and I'm doing well.
And in 40 minutes, Robert Quinn is now an Eagle. What effect will that have on Philly and the NFC playoff race and the NFC East, which is right now the best division in football. A 6-0 Eagles team, a 6-1 Giants team, a 2-loss Cowboys team. It's a hell of a division. So George Kliavkoff, as the new commissioner of the Pac-12, is trying anything he can to keep USC and UCLA from leaving. And he does not believe that it is a done deal. Now, the Big Ten will absorb USC and UCLA in 2024, okay? So it's not that far away. But Kliavkoff is clearly gone to the offensive to try to keep them with the Pac-12. He is not letting them leave quietly, which I guess is the right move. I mean, I guess if you read it, it's the right move, where if you're employed to try to stay the course and keep the league healthy, you don't want to lose two of the flagship programs. I suppose that the idea is you do whatever you can, even if it makes you look petty and small and silly, to keep bringing up why they should stay or why it's a mistake. And so before, a couple of months ago, it was they'll actually lose money by going to the Big Ten. And now he said at Pac-12 Basketball Media Day yesterday that he has spoken to more than 100 people, dozens, and he has yet to talk to anybody in the UCLA or USC community who's in favor of the move. Quote, I will say that I probably hear from folks who are not in favor, not surprisingly. He also says that between travel and coaches' salaries and some of the other expenses when you're in the Big Ten, that what you gain in the media rights deal will be more than offset, and we stand by those numbers. Now, I talked about this when he first brought it up. I find it very, very hard to believe that the tons of cash, the fire hose of money that you get from going to the Big Ten, that all of that surplus compared to the Pac-12, which does not have a very good media rights deal, all of that money that comes to you is offset in travel. I find that very hard to believe. And then he says coaches' salaries. I mean, that's nebulous as well, because you get to choose your coaches' salaries. We had Martin Jarmond on the show, athletic director at UCLA, and I asked him here on the show not long ago, did you make this decision based on finances? Because the reports have been that UCLA was underwater financially, makes this move, and now they'll be above water. They'll finally make money. And he said, look, there's a lot of considerations, but financial is always one of those considerations. Again, I find it very hard to believe that your jets to Bloomington or your jets to Iowa City are going to use up all of the cash that you make in this monster media rights deal, which again, the Big Ten's media rights go up in value when you add USC and UCLA. So my guess is that Martin Jarmond and the decision makers at UCLA and USC have crunched those numbers and realize long-term, short-term, we'll take all of the cash from the Big Ten and we're going to be better off for it. That's my guess, right? I mean, it's hard to imagine that you spend all of that money in jets. Now, to be fair, you got to send women's volleyball also to Piscataway, and you got to send the men's soccer team to Northwestern. And yes, there is an issue there because it's not just your football team traveling 6 times a year. But again, I think you probably have factored that all in as you've made this decision, I would imagine. This is actually where Kliavkoff has a better argument. He should argue, yeah, the money's there. Oh, sure, you can go make a ton of cash in the Big Ten. Fine. I can't argue with that. Our media rights deal isn't that. That's what he should say. And then he should use this as the weapon. But it doesn't make it good. Because aren't you there for your fans? Aren't you there for your alumni? Why are you playing sports? Just to make money? Well, then, I guess I'm in the wrong business. Now, it would be two-faced because, of course, he's in the business of business. But this is a much better argument here that everybody he has spoken to, even if it's a lie, doesn't want it to happen. And that's what he should play on, the emotional strings here. Because let's be honest, you go to USC, and I've gone to a USC football game before, and you have the pomp and circumstance and the bands and the Heismans and the national championships and the legacy, and you have the rivalries, and you have the regional connections. And when you go to a Pac-12 football game, it doesn't feel like the Big Ten. I've been to Iowa City, I've been to LA. It's two totally different cultures. And that's great. That's what makes college football great. What makes it great is that your rivals are usually, if not always, culturally similar to you. That's why you hate each other, because you're the same. It's like looking in a mirror. You know? And so why would USC alumni, instead of playing Oregon every year, instead of playing Stanford and Cal every year, why would USC alumni want the Trojans to play Purdue? Why would they care? Why would UCLA alumni, fans, players, donors, why would they care about playing Michigan State? That's the play here. So Kliavkov's on the right track, and he should really hammer this home. Yeah, they'll make more money, but does it make it better? Does it make it better? It might not save them. It probably won't. I would imagine that UCLA and USC leave no matter what. But I think this is a much stronger argument against leaving. If all we all do is simply chase the highest number, well, why wouldn't we all then just join the SEC? Now, again, the SEC has to invite you, but, that's the argument. Aren't you here for your fans? Aren't you here for the alumni? Aren't you here for the people that have supported you, have gone to your school? That's the play. 855-212-4CBS or on Twitter, DA on CBS. Max tweets, DA, you got the wrong Patty Smith. The Scandals Patty is spelled Smyth. I'm missing something
this
here.
too.
Aren't they both pronounced Patty Smith?
It's not like you're pronouncing it wrong.
Unless it's Patty Smyth. Am I missing this?
I don't think it is.
No. And Patty Smith, whichever one you want to pick, one of them saying the Warrior. Nobody knows which Patty Smith Heller meant because he made a mistake. So if you say an older Patty Smith, which both are, would be getting hit by Giannis would be a problem, and the Warrior thing, you got it right. I think, personally, because Kaplan put up a Patty Smith graphic on the stream, if they are watching, maybe Kaplan put up the wrong Patty Smith that didn't sing Warrior, and that's what these people are saying.
Or people don't realize the Warrior Patty Smith is also an elderly woman now. I guess it's not elderly, but she's 65. The first Patty Smith is 75. The second Patty Smith is 65.
Both are old.
So either one, if they got hit in the throat by Giannis, which again didn't happen, thankfully.
This is the most ridiculous thing ever. So basically, you got the age wrong of the Warrior Patty Smith, but she's still an older woman now.
We play the song, we talk about the song, and all we're getting is, you got the wrong Patty Smith. I mean, let's die on another hill.
By the way, there's 30 million Patty Smiths. That's my aunt's name. I mean, you
Is it?
Yes, my mom's sister, Patty Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
How's she spell Patty?
Well, she makes it short for Patricia. I always see it on Facebook as P-A-T-T-I when she shares incoming storms. So, big on the weather tracking. Huge.
And Smith spelled S-M-I-T-H.
Yeah, that's my mother's maiden name. I could have been a Smith.
Wow. Sean Smith.
You know, Sean Smith sounds a little more sophisticated.
It also sounds like a radio host, Sean Smith, coming up at noon.
You're right. I got this weird last name. People have called me more ass my whole life. People can't get it right.
It's a good stage name.
It's a good stage name, Sean Smith. Yeah.
I like it. They used to say your pornographic name is your middle name plus your street name that you grew up on.
I heard it was your first pet's name and then the street you grew up on.
Okay, well, either way, I would have had a good one. Either I would have been Zipper Elmwood or Taylor Elmwood. But Zipper Elmwood, first pet's name and street name, that's a good porn name.
Gizmo Meadow.
Yours is Gizmo Meadow?
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
That's amazing.
Gizmo Meadow does weird things, too. That name sounds like a weird
That's a weird
activity.
Porn.
Is Pete admitting to doing weird things? I don't know.
No, just the name.
Citrus Thorn tweets, you praise in public, you handle negative in private. A great interview by a beat writer from NJ.com pretty much nailed it on why Aaron Judge is leaving. You can't upset people's families no matter how jaded a fan group you are. So this is a defense of Aaron Judge being willing to leave because you Yankee fans are so arrogant, so smug, you even boo the best thing to happen to the Yankees.
So upset Judge's family, who just got catered to, given sweets, fans high-fiving the mother all through. So they got mistreated. They can't upset them. I mean, this is, I mean,
the man's a hero.
A lot of people's backs are hurting here for reaching here. Aaron Judge, I don't think is going anywhere, and this is a terrible take. This sounds like a Josh Donaldson upset take, but let's throw it on Judge.
The issue is that while the Yankees have the brand, they're not really the Yankees anymore. They're not a big bad wolf. They're not who you worry about. You worry about the Dodgers. You worry about the Dodgers signing everybody and winning 125 games. You might not worry about the Dodgers winning World Series, but you worry about the Dodgers having the financial might. Now you worry about the Mets with a financial might, $17 billion. You worry about the Astros doing everything right and winning every single year and building a strong team. What you don't worry about is you don't worry about the Yankees. You don't worry about Aaron Boone. You don't worry about Brian Cashman. You don't worry about their financial might. You don't worry about them keeping good things. You don't. And that's such a change in the reality of the Yankees when the Yankees between 95 and 2002, let's say, had built this brilliant core of foundational pieces through the draft and through the prospects in the farm system, and then also supplemented with their finances, and they just did everything right. They drafted and developed Jeter. They drafted and developed Pettit. They drafted and developed Posada. They drafted and developed all these guys, and then they could earmark, okay, we bring in this guy, we bring in that guy, we lose Wetland, we've got Mariano. You know, boom, boom, boom. We can bring in Cone, we can bring in Jimmy Key, we can bring in this guy, that guy, the other. Boggs, boom. We can fit it all together. And now you just don't. They just don't have the secret sauce anymore. Nobody worries about the Yankees.
So I agree, but you also it's not the money thing, DA. The fourth and eighth highest payroll in the World Series right now. The Yankees were third. They could spend with all of them. The problem is all the guys that they counted on to be their next comings, Gleyber Torres and all these guys to supplement around Aaron Judge, they all keep failing. And then when they supplement them by spending on the high roll, those guys suck too.
But you also want to run Aaron Judge out of town.
I don't want to run Aaron Judge out of town. Again, I want Aaron Judge back. I think Aaron Judge will be back. My point is simply this. If Aaron Judge wants to leave because he doesn't like being booed, then go and leave.
Well, you've said two different things. Right here, you're saying, I don't want him to leave. Then, about 5 minutes ago, you said you want him to leave so that they bottom out and they can fire Cashman and
I'm saying if he leaves, it may not be the worst thing in the world because of that. Doesn't mean, of course I want the Yankees to compete. They're a better team with Aaron Judge. But ultimately, if he leaves, well, maybe this ownership will get it through their head to stop being bozos and we have the wrong general manager.
I don't think it matters.
I think the other thing he alluded to, there's a fair point here too. It's not also the high payrolls. It's the teams like the Braves and like the Padres and the Cardinals who have lapped them in their organizational structure in terms of prospects coming up.
Totally.
And killing it. And them getting long-term extensions with those teams. The Yankees don't have that. They don't have that like you said, they don't have that core that's coming up through the system that's going to work with Aaron Judge.
And we thought it was 5 years ago. They had all of these young guys at the farm system that were supposed to be the baby bombers. They never panned out. Outside of Aaron Judge, who have the Yankees developed as a star in 20 years?
I agree. Now, that being said, that's supposedly the reason they didn't go crazy and spend last year, because they have like 3 huge kids that are all supposed to be in their everyday lineup
But boy,
next year.
didn't we hear this 5 years ago?
I agree.
We always hear this.
You always hear. I totally agree. But to say that they're not bringing the right guys up, well, who knows? I mean, maybe they will, maybe they won't.
Isn't this amazing, though? Really, outside of Aaron Judge, since they won the World Series in 2009, and you can go back to when they won their last of the dynasty in 2000, who have they drafted and developed into a star?
Yeah, they thought they had one in Gary Sanchez. They didn't. Gleyber Torres has been fringe.
That's 25 years.
And Gleyber Torres was a trade, technically.
20,
yeah, I mean, trade for a prospect.
22 years have they drafted and developed a star aside from Judge?
And they've drafted and developed guys who have been all-stars, but not stars.
Yeah. And the Yankees have always been stars.
I mean,
that's crazy. 2 decades. They have Aaron Judge, and that's it.
Well, they put a lot of eggs in the basket of these guys that nobody knows yet, but we'll see.
It started when they signed Giambi. That offseason, when they signed Giambi and Tino walked, and that was it, that was when that mindset changed a little bit.
It was Giambi, then it was Randy Johnson, and it was all those guys that were just big-ticket free agents.
Kevin Brown.
Kevin Brown.
The other part of this is they did develop Aaron Judge, who might be the best player in baseball, too.
Oh, so now you love him. And now he's the best player in baseball.
Is he the MVP? Yes, I'm saying he's failed miserably in the big stage, other than 2017 when he should have a World Series because the team cheated. But since then, he's failed miserably in the big stage. You can't just discount, well, who have they developed besides Aaron Judge if they've been the king of developing the biggest star?
Well, 20 years, you can't have one guy. I mean, look at the Astros. The Astros drafted and developed Altuve, Correa, Springer, now Alvarez, Garrett Cole, unless that was the trade with the Pirates.
Alvarez was the Dodger.
Okay. Take the other 15 guys that they've won these AL West championships.
Yeah, I wouldn't call most of those guys stars. I would call Altuve and Correa stars, sure. I don't think Springer's a star. Really good piece.
Okay. We're also talking about the last 7 years.
And what did it take? It also took them having to go spend on a Verlander and Cole and bring those guys in.
You got to do that too. But you got to develop stars.
Look, if you're telling me the Yankees need to develop more than Aaron Judge, of course they do. And they have a couple kids they think, and they could fail miserably or they could be fine. We'll see.
I don't know. 20 years. That's a long time.
Of course it's a long time. That's why I'm so dejected. You guys are making me go nuts. I've been telling you this, and now you're like stirring the pot and throwing it back on me. You're telling me a week ago you can't do that. You can't be Piggy Doodle Dandy but feel that way. And now you're telling me that I should feel that way. You're all nuts. You're driving me insane. Enjoy the Giants and move on.
When we come back on the show, it's Cheesesteak Day and a Thirsty Thursday. Hang on, what's this? We're toasting to the good stuff. DA, CBS Sports Radio. So, Mraz, you only have to lose 10 pounds a month starting today, every month for the next 11 months.
All right, look, it's possible.
To get down to the target date.
I'm starting a boot camp the day after the Super Bowl.
So, when does it end?
Well, because I know in Miami I'm not exactly
XFL
dying.
championship.
No, my XFL debut.
No. I'm going to do a boot camp. And I am going on, by the way, strict no alcohol from Super Bowl Monday to St. Patty's Day.
Okay, so you're going to do about 6 weeks, no booze.
No booze at all. I'm giving up anything French fried related for Lent.
The French fry family.
Well, that includes your home fries and stuff like that for breakfast.
So potatoes is what you're giving
Well,
up.
no, because if I sneak a mashed in there, I'm not gonna, arrest myself. And I think outside of cookies, I want to give up desserts for at least 2 months.
Outside of cookies.
Look.
This is worse than my idea of a
No,
diet.
it's not, because your blood sugar gets low.
Having a gallon of mashed potatoes with bacon and cheese on top, you might as well have a French fry.
And 7 cookies after.
If I didn't have cake.
No, look, I'm going to avoid the brownies. I'm going to avoid the ice. I'm big on ice cream. I'm going to avoid cannolis. I'm going to avoid cheesecakes. But look, sometimes your blood sugar gets low. You're going to have to hit your brain with something. So I figure cookies an easy nosh.
Mraz. Come on, July 4th weekend. Mr. Softy comes around your
I
neighborhood?
said 2 months. I know that.
Oh, okay. So got it. So that you're only going until March 17th.
That's the boot camp part of the program.
And then when does the diet kick in?
Well, that's part of the diet. And then my hope is from that point forward, I see progress. And there I am making conscientious efforts. And then if I choose to have a Mr. Softy on July 4th, maybe I only have it on July 4th and I don't have it on July 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Okay. Well, I hope, obviously, I'm rooting for you. But you've got to lose 106 in the next 11 months.
At some point,
by the way,
when you bet against me, I prevail.
That's the analytics of the day. You've
Right.
got to lose 106 pounds in 11 months,
Oh.
right? Starting today.
Look, Rome wasn't built in a day, guys. I'm gonna ride out the next 10 days. I'm going to go to Miami. I'm going to show my bod one last time, and then when I arrive at the beach a year later, I got news for you. People are going to look at my moves, and they're not going to be there.
Good one.
At what point do we pick what actual weight he will finish at that first birthday party?
Look, I think that this is very important. I think either we do this on the day boot camp begins or on the day boot camp ends. Maybe we wait to see how boot camp goes on March 17th, St. Patty's Day, and declare right there, okay, here's what target weight really is.
That's fair.
Set an over-under.
Right.
So on St. Patty's Day, we'll then have some type of body of work, we'll say.
I agree, although it should be noted as I'm saying this, I do realize I have Nets tickets on Sunday, March 8th, so I'm going to have to just jump in on the alcohol part of that again that day. But then I'll jump back off for a week.
Okay, so
Cookies
really,
only.
Boot camp ends really March 8th.
Yeah, but on March 9th, I'm back.
Okay. Is that how boot camp works?
March 8th will be my cheat day.
Boot camp works where you enlist in the military, and then for one day you leave, go crazy.
I'm going to take a break, Uncle Sam.
And then you come back to boot camp.
Where are my cookies, by the way? I'm only on a mashed potato diet. Thank you. You can take your curly fries back.
Any potato expert will tell you they're healthier than a French fry in oil. There's no oil.
If there's a potato expert listening,
Let me tell you something.
855-212-4CBS.
Well, we're on in Boise.
You think they didn't laugh at Atkins the first time he came across with his diet, or Mr. Keto, or whoever else came across? You can't just eat sausage all day and lose weight. And now guess what? The first guy to come up with intermittent fasting, you think they didn't look at him and go, what are you, nuts? You got to eat.
What do you think the first name of Mr. Atkins was?
I know it's not Gino because he plays for the Bengals. I'm going to say Charles.
Okay. So the great Charles Atkins.
Right.
Okay. And
You
what
think
do you
when he was rolling out with the low carbs?
And what do you think Mr. Keto's name was?
Kenny.
No, I'm probably a
Kenny
Phil.
Keto.
A Phil Keto.
Do you know their names? Because you're laughing at me. I don't see how you guys know their names.
There is a Dr. Adkins. I don't know about
Yes, he wrote a
keto.
book on low carbs.
Keto is not the name of a last name. It's ketosis. It's the type of processing your body does.
Oh. Well, then who invented it?
Well, I just like the idea of Phil Keto. former nose tackle of the Texans.
He's running this boot camp.
You're losing.
You mashed potatoes and cookies.
We're toasting to the good life.
I feel alive.
We are feeling good and doing well.
How many beers ago? Probably 1,000.
It's the DA Show's Thirsty Thursday.
Celebrating with some booskies.
Booskies! Remember, the DA Show is available in podcast form. If you want to hear it again, catch up on what you may have missed. It's always available, the best of the show or the full 4 hours. Just search The DA Show on your favorite podcast platform. Chuck tweets, be easy on Mraz, guys. Remember, you're in the presence of someone who coulda, shoulda been an NHL Hall of Famer and an Academy Award winner.
I never said Academy Award.
But you did feel like your acting chops yesterday could lead to a great acting career.
Not great. I think I could be a decent extra with a line or two in a movie, sure.
These pretzels are making me thirsty?
Yeah, I'm not telling you I'm Zach Galifianakis, but I could be in a film.
Is Zach Galifianakis a great actor?
I don't know. He's a star in some hit movies.
Yeah, he is a star, that's for sure. Okay, well, Mraz, who are you toasting to?
I'm toasting to peanut butter. You think about it. What an unbelievably versatile food. I've been eating a lot of it lately, and we got all these kind of kooky companies that make all these kooky peanut butters. I got one with a little like crumb in it, and they're good on the rice cakes, as I've joked about. They're good lathering on a sandwich. Geez, you ever pull out a Ritz cracker, just put a little peanut butter in it, keep eating it. They're great if you melt it down and put it as an ice cream topping. It's excellent involved in several breakfasts. I mean, and then you really want to get crazy, boil it down. You could use it in some Thai food as well. Peanut butter's awesome. And I think that peanut butter, because it's been such a staple of our childhoods, sometimes gets overlooked as an adult food. It's looked at as a little beneath you as an adult. And I think that's unfair to peanut butter. I think peanut butter deserves a lot more recognition than just being, a backwards accepted, it's just hanging out there. I love peanut butter. I'm toasting to it.
I co-sign on that.
Booskies.
I think underrated as a lunch or even a dinner sometimes is a PB&J. You always feel like, I got nothing left in the house to eat. What am I going to have for dinner? Order out. I got to go run to the grocery store. If you have peanut butter, jelly, and bread in the house, you can get by on that.
It's really good.
It's really good. And you'll
Really
never
good.
have it and be disappointed. Be like, oh, man, it was only PB&J. You're like, wow, this is actually really good.
Right. In fact, I would say if it's been a couple months, you will have peanut butter and jelly and go, damn, why did I do this?
Yeah. Now, the jelly's crucial there because if you have old jelly in the fridge that, hasn't been used in a long time, that could ruin the PB&J. But overall, you're never going to be disappointed with a PB&J.
And strawberry works, grape works, crunchy peanut butter works, creamy peanut butter works. There's so many different combinations.
Raz. Pete the Body Bilotti, who are you toasting to?
I am toasting Hawkeye in the morning, the morning show at 96.3 in Dallas. They were here a couple days ago, and we set them up in the studio over there to do some remote things while they were in New
I think
York.
they were in town for the Marconi Awards.
Yes. And I got a package the other day from them, which were cookies and brownies for all of us. And it was a very nice gift from them. Happy to help them. But let's raise a glass to that and some wonderful pastries they brought us.
Yep.
Booskies.
That was 96 what?
96.3.
96.3, the Hawkeye in Dallas. And they were very nice. They were very gracious when they were here. They took one of our production studios and did their show from here for 2 mornings. And they thanked us every single morning. They were all very, very nice. And you had this box of pastries. And it goes a long way when you say thank you to somebody, not only in person, but also when you send the gift. And you're like, oh, that thank you really meant something because now you had to actually put together a gift, get a mailing address, and let me tell you, you handed out some of that stuff the other day. That brownie was elite.
Oh, it was excellent.
I'm a huge brownie guy. These brownies were they were big rectangles. And they had this perfect balance of the hard crust and the soft inside. It was almost like every brownie had both the crust and the inside.
They're huge, too.
And they were big. I mean, that actually was my breakfast one day. So those were great. I don't know where they got them. We should find out because those were freaking good.
I'm going to ask them.
Yeah,
that's good.
Ask them.
Know where they
and that was really sweet of them to do that. That was cool. I am toasting to, what are you upset about?
How is it every time I'm not here, something magically, unicornish gets delivered? The world's greatest brownie happens to come the week I got swine.
Maybe the universe was looking out for you because you didn't need any more brownies.
So I ate the 7 pounds of Cheez-Its I had at home?
I am toasting to the McDonald's for bringing back the Happy Meal buckets for Halloween. I think this is so cool. This is something from the 80s, probably the 70s, 80s, and 90s as well, but I remember them specifically when I was a kid in the 80s. And, you get the Happy Meal in the bucket, and one is a ghost, and one is a witch, and one is a pumpkin. And I always thought they were so cool. And they've been away forever, and now they just brought them back this year, and I haven't bought a Happy Meal since I was 8. And I don't really have a need for one because we don't have kids, but I've thought all week I should go get one of these because they're so cool.
I got 4 of them at home if you need one.
I just love these. I just think they're the coolest thing ever. They remind me of retro Halloween. There's something very nostalgic and cool about them. You could just put candy in them and leave them outside. You could have your kids use them as well. You can use them around the house. I just think they're awesome. So I love that idea. And I love the idea that all of these fast food places are going nostalgic. You know, we talked about this not long ago. Craig Robinson, the comedian, is doing the Pizza Hut stuff. And the whole bit there is that it's the old Pizza Hut with the old red lamps above your table, and it's the old red and white checkerboard, and it's like, yeah, that's the Pizza Hut I remember. I like that Pizza Hut.
Right, it feels like you're eating that food in 1991.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but Papa John's has changed its font and its boxing. And so that Papa John's is like the old Papa John's font. I
just love the idea of you breaking down NFL uniforms and fast food uniforms.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, I'm into it. The BKs, new BKs are all the older BK designs. Some of them go to the really old brown and orange. Some of them do the green through it, like the Whopper theme. But, I mean, I love that they're all going retro. It feels good. I like it. I like these buckets for Halloween. Give me more of it.
Booskies. Yeah, I was going to say, Bob came over like a McDonald's advertisement with a McRib and 4 Happy Meals for my kids with the buckets.
Wow, I don't know if Bob with the bum, hip, and knee should be eating the McRib. There's a lot of sodium in that.
I thought the same. He came over, you would have, I literally, like, he walked out of a commercial. He was carrying I didn't know which bucket to get him. I'm like, Dad, they're 1 and 3. What are you doing? And look what I got. The McRib's back, too. I'm like, did they just throw every advertisement at you?
But Bob is happy. He's a happy man.
Oh, I loves it. He can't get enough. The McDonald's buckets, it's great. They glow in the dark. Look, we used to have them when you were kids. I'm like, great, Dad. Thanks.
Yeah, no, your dad's he's a sucker for McDonald's. He's a sucker for nostalgia like I am. And the Giants are 6-1. So his life right now is made.
Sky high. Sky high. By the way, the McNugget is still excellent.
Excellent?
Actually, I had him, because he bought 4 Happy Meals, so kids aren't going to eat all 4. So the McNugget still reigns in. It's pretty good.
Sweet and sour?
No, barbecue. Great barbecue sauce.
I like a McDonald's sweet and sour. Brad Heller, who are you toasting to?
I am toasting to my boss, Tim Sheld, who's actually leaving today, his last day.
Wow.
After about 20 years as the news director at WCBS 880 here in New York, and also he oversees the Mets Radio Network. He's a wonderful guy, wonderful person to work for, so he's moving on to other things, and wish him all the best. I know you've dealt with him in the past, and he's a great man, and we're sending him off hopefully in the next week or so. A nice little goodbye celebration for him. So a toast to Mr. Tim Sheld. He was a longtime reporter for ABC Radio. He covered all the big events, news, sports around the world. So he's wonderful on the air, and also stepped behind the scenes and has done a wonderful job as a supervisor. So toast to him.
Toast to Tim. It's a great career. At Well Horror tweets, I'm toasting to vampires. Research shows that the idea of a creature coming out at night to drain our life force goes all the way back to Mesopotamia. Older than the Greeks, but nowhere near Transylvania. Hashtag, you heard me wrong. Hashtag, unpipe it.
Booskies.
Rob is in the 3-2-1 this morning here on the DA Show. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, DA, good morning. I really wanted to do a Bootskies to Kyle to thank him for letting me live rent-free in his mind. But as someone who's been in music radio, it's Patty Smythe, and now I'm going to throw you a sports reference.
It is. SMYTH is Smythe.
Yes, and you ready? I'm gonna knock this one out of the park. She's been married to sports reference John McEnroe for over 25 years.
Okay, so
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Wait a second. Do this for me. So which one's Patty Smith? Which one's Patty Smythe?
Patty Smythe is the one who sang Warrior.
Oh.
She also sang a love song with Don Henley, Sometimes Love Ain't Enough. And like I said, sports reference, nerd alert, she's been married to tennis star John McEnroe.
Okay, we got it. That's not, we don't care about that. Patty Smythe was the one with Scandal that sings The Warrior.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. That's good clarification. I did not know that was pronounced Smythe. That's my bad.
My bad.
What's eating you, Gilbert Grape?
We get it with the McEnroe reference. How many times are you going to say the McEnroe for? That's not what we're looking for. You want to know about the Warrior, the Smythe, the Smith. He keeps going to the McEnroe. Nobody cares.
My bad, my friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Rob, honestly, there is missing the lead. We're looking for the clarification on Smythe versus Smith and who was in Scandal. And if you drop a factoid, You can't say, let me blow your mind, and then it's not that mind-blowing.
It's not mind-blowing. And then to go back to it? And then what really irritated me about that call, what set me over the edge, you guys probably didn't even notice it because you don't speak, Rob. He tried so hard to make himself a drop by doing the nerd alert thing. He tried.
No, but we don't do nerd alert here. That's Amy's bit.
But that's what he's hoping is that he did an Amy bit. Let's keep that as a drop. Rob planted that. He pre-wrote it out, and this is what he does. I'm glad. He really did give us the Smythe Smith thing, so this is a classic Rob call. He goes 1 for 3, and then you keep thinking he's productive. He gives us something good and then derails you on other stuff.
That's a 333 hitter, though.
I was going to say 1 for 3 is productive.
You should say he's 1 for 4.
But his OPS sucks.
Okay. Quote, you guys don't speak Rob.
Correct.
All right, Brad Heller is in with the headlines this morning.
All right,
Mr.
DA,
Heller.
we are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Insurance for motorcycles, boats, and RVs for protection on the road and on the water. See how much you can save. 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh breaking down the challenges of Thursday Night Football. His team heads to Tampa tonight to take on the Bucs.
I mean, these guys are going to be out there playing, on 4 days. You watch the Thursday night games and you see the effects of that. I think everybody can kind of see that if you're a fan. So that's a big challenge. To travel when you're on the road, I think it's tough, to travel on Thursday. So we've got to be mindful of that.
Ravens are 4-3. They will be without defensive end Calais Campbell because of an illness, while the Bucs at 3-4. They're down 4 starters and a bunch of other reserves, including a secondary.
From Baltimore to Tampa. They're not going to Egypt here.
What was that?
I mean, Harbaugh. This travel's going to be rough. You're going Baltimore to Tampa. It's like an hour 15 on
It's going to be an hour and a half or so.
Give me a break.
Hasn't he been outspoken in the past about the Thursday night game?
Yes. Yeah. I think the Ravens
It's fine to dislike it, but don't bring up your travel schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't Denver to London.
You're not doing high knees.
No, there's no
on
high
the flight from Baltimore to Tampa. There's no time.
No time for high knees. Before you know it, you're over Raleigh.
The Bucs 3-4. The starters they're missing, including defensive back Antoine Winfield Jr. and corner Carlton Davis. Another NFL trade before the deadline next week. Defensive end Robert Quinn going from the Bears to the Eagles for a 4th rounder. Quinn only 1 sack this season, coming off a year where he had 18.5 a year ago. That broke the Bears' single-season record. Aaron Rodgers isn't hiding from his comments on the Pat McAfee show that guys who aren't performing on that struggling Packers offense shouldn't be playing.
If one of those guys has a problem with it, I'm right here. I'd love to have a conversation. I enjoy those conversations, I enjoy any type of conflict like that because I know the resolution on the other side is going to make us, a better unit, a better friendship, a better cohesion on the field. But nobody's come to me and said, I got a problem with what you said.
The Packers head coach.
My favorite quote that Rodgers had yesterday, I don't know if you guys heard this, was, look, I'm not a robot up there, and some people today, day and age, they just can't handle the truth. Like, man, I'm just so sick and tired of the Aaron Rodgers thing. Like, no, the audience, the society can't handle me. I'm being me and you guys can't handle me. Like, it's honestly not about the truth. It's about when is appropriate to speak about such things. And there is always a dance that you do with what's appropriate and when it's appropriate. And it's just inappropriate for a player to be saying who's supposed to play and when they're supposed to play, especially now when the Packers are going through tough times. It's just inappropriate to thrust yourself into decision-making role or judgment of the decision makers.
And he's not playing that well either.
He's like, I just think people that today, day and age, they just can't handle the truth. Man, it's not about the freaking truth. It's just Rodgers, he's so great to watch sometimes, and yet he's so intellectually obnoxious.
I am so happy Bialy, that one got Jeopardy instead of Rodgers. So happy.
Mayim Bialik? Bialy's a bagel.
That's her name?
Blossom?
Yeah.
Yes, Mayim Bialik.
I'm happy that she... Where did I get... Whatever. I'm happy that she got Jeopardy. Imagine Rodgers hosting Jeopardy.
Yeah, her and Ken Jennings splitting that duty is way better than intellectually obnoxious Aaron Rodgers teaching us all about,
Is showing us what he knows.
Or Somali Bialy splitting it with them.
Well, Matt LaFleur did not disagree with Rodgers. He said sometimes the truth hurts. So there we go.
No, he didn't.
More truth from Green Bay and the Packers. Well, The truth for the Lakers right now is that they're really bad. They're really bad. 0-4. They lost to the Nuggets 110-99. Here's their head coach, Darvin Ham.
We're 4 games in. It sucks to lose, but having 78 games left, there's plenty of time for us to right the ship, and it starts now. It starts yesterday.
LeBron has not gone 0-4 since his rookie season. Meanwhile, Steve Nash was ejected for the first time in his coaching career, back-to-back third-quarter technicals. He was defending Patty Mills, not Patty Smith, not Patty Smythe in Milwaukee. Just clearing that up. And the Nets lost to the Bucks 110-99. Nash thought that Mills was hit in the throat by Giannis in front of the officials, and they missed it. Kevin Durant, who, remember, wanted to get rid of Nash over the summer, said there's no denying that his coach is going to stick up for his guys.
I know my coach is there for me. I know he supports us and wants the best for us. So him getting a tech really don't enforce that in my mind even more. It's just... I like that he was excited about the game and into the game that much.
Excited? Did you see how angry he got? He had to be restrained by like 3 players and assistant
Steve
coach.
Nash is always such a cool, calm customer that was interesting.
Doesn't even raise his voice. I mean, he had to be physically restrained.
Yeah, I wonder if he feels like he's going to get fired this season.
I mean, the Nets are 1-3 to start the year, and who knows what could happen if Durant changes his mind or Kyrie starts not showing up, or Ben Simmons.
Kyrie yelled at Ben Simmons last night, "Shoot it, Ben!" You could hear it on the broadcast. "Shoot it, Ben!"
It's like a playground game.
Yep.
The Bucks, meanwhile, are 3-0. They're the only undefeated team left in the NBA because the Blazers suffered their first loss, 119-98, to the Heat at home. Damian Lillard left that game with a strained calf. The Sixers are off to a rough start. Doc Rivers could be in trouble. They're 1-4 as they fell to the Raptors 119-109. DA, back to you.
Thank you, Heller. This season, for the first time, you can hear every Westwood One NFL broadcast streamed live for free. Mondays, Thursdays like tonight, Sunday nights, the International Series, holiday triple headers, and every postseason game. Catch all of the action on the Odyssey app or WestwoodOneSports.com via Westwood One station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. All sponsored by AutoZone. It's time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone, AutoZone. So I was wrong on Patty Smith versus Patty Smythe. I thought they were both pronounced Smith. We all did here on the show.
Yep.
So we take an L on that one. Thanks, everybody, for pointing that out. Did not realize that was a difference. So that's my bad, my friends. My bad.
I am sorry. My bad.
My bad.
My bad, my friend. I'm sorry.
When we come back on the show, Quinn to the Eagles, what does it mean for the NFC? DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Mraz ate it up. I mean, just freaking ate it up.
Everyone did.
And, yeah, he hit every buzzword. And so, Mraz, how optimistic are you today versus where you were 48 hours ago as you wear your New York Giants helmet on air?
Your fabric helmet.
I am more convinced than ever that we have a coach that will be here for 2 decades and stability has arrived.
2 decades?
He is 38 years old, Damon. 2 decades only gets you to 58. This guy is a football coach's football coach. It's no question he killed the interview. Obviously, you see now why we wouldn't fly Matt Rule in here.
Sure.
This isn't about, he's not faking history with Julius Peppers. He's talking about real lineage here in New York. In-your-face football. He's not talking about hipsters with beanies and Nintendo vintage t-shirts.
Who is?
He's talking about guys like me that throw those shoes on, get on 3:20 a.m. trains,
and
get to work. And get to work. That's what I'm talking about. I am so convinced that this is the guy now.
Wow.
He learned from Belichick. He talked about what he learned from Bill, talking about square peg, round hole, and you don't force things and playing a guy's strengths. We don't have Ben McAdoo sticking a huge friendlies menu, stupid index card of a play call sheet in his face. We don't have Pat Shurmur being kind, not knowing when to challenge. And
Kind?
Yeah, he was supposed to be
coached a
That
game yet.
was his problem. He was too kind.
Yeah, he was too much of a gentle human. I have a
Wow.
I got news for you. Odell Beckham plays for this team. Janoris Jenkins plays for this team. Eli Apple plays for this team. They're not getting away with what they got away with in the past here in New York. This is no nonsense. This is a guy that's going to learn all 53 guys on the roster. It's going to reflect that. And this is a football team that, you know what? All these Sunday 1 o'clock games we got buried with Tom Brenneman calling games. We're back to playing Sunday night football. We're back to prime time. And we're going to start kicking the Cowboys and Eagles' ass. We got Super Bowls to win. And Joe Joe Judge presents that.
We got bumped at Kenny Albert games on Fox.
It's really hard for me to take you seriously, dressed as Bart Oates as a cat burglar.
This is my run through a wall outfit. You hear that guy talk to passion. What's the heart beating? It's like Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, he was on cocaine.
I don't care what he was on. I don't care what he was on. That's a guy who wants
What
me to...
are you on?
No, that's a guy, that guy's coaching your team. You're in the parking lot at 7 a.m. turning brats, pumped up, ready to go watch some football.
Now, here's my question. I agree Joe Judge said everything a fan would absolutely love. And if he said those things to the Maras and the Tishes, I could see how that could win them over.
Judge.
But if Tepper did not give Matt Rule $1 billion, the Giants definitely still wanted to interview Matt Rule to see if he would be their head coach.
Yeah, but you know what? If Joe Judge didn't talk like this, I bet you they would have gone above and beyond and paid Matt Rule whatever he wanted. But Joe Judge, 38 years old, guy from Saban, from Belichick. Who cares about Matt Rule? Matt Rule, take a lap. This is what it's all about. And also, I love the idea that he's not enough. He said it. I'm not a coordinator focused on the calling plays. I got my fingerprints on the team. Talking about as a special teams coach, you earn trust. You go to a wide receiver if somebody's hurt and you say you need him gunning on kicks. He knows how to get a finger pulse of a team. And he's only 38, which means we're done with the changeover every 2 years. This is 20 years in the making of the head coach of the New York Giants.
Any worry that at 38 he's too inexperienced?
Inexperienced? That guy was born to be a coach.
Oh.
If he talked like that at 4 years old, he should coach a football team.
Okay, 4.
Oh, my goodness. Honestly, look, Adam Gase last year, his eyes were darting all over the place looking for a taco when he was hired by the Jets. When Ben McAdoo was hired by the Giants, the guy wore a suit that only would fit Peter Schwartz, and yet it was on Ben McAdoo, and that's all we talked about. So now a guy crushes an opening press conference, and we're going to try to throw water on it? Heck no. Well, this is a football coach.
Well, I'm just saying inexperienced like he's never been a head coach before. I
agree. But some guys have never been head coach before succeed. Sean McVay was never a head coach, succeeded.
Right, but he was.
John Harbaugh was a head coach, never and succeeded.
Okay, we keep going back to John Harbaugh.
Because this is John Harbaugh.
The one special teams guy ever.
Well, now we got 2 special teams guys ever. This is just, it's unbelievable the passion that this city is feeling today. We are buzzing. This is once again a Giants town.
Oh, God.
And like I
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's the DA Show on CBS Sports Radio.
49 minutes past the hour. Thanks so much for being with us. DA with you here on CBS Sports Radio. As always, the DA emanates live from the CBS Sports Radio studios, and you can watch those studios at watchda.com, on Twitch or on YouTube. We will do another Twitch post-game show today for our Twitch users and viewers. We'll do that coming up 1/2 hour after the show, 30 minutes after we're off the air, approximately 10:30 Eastern time. We'll get on Twitch and do that post-game show like we did last week, which was a lot of fun, had a lot of great interaction. I loved it. I want to do it again. Me and Cap will fire that thing up, fire up the engines coming up here at about a half hour after today's show. So, the trade for Robert Quinn from the Bears to the Eagles is an interesting one. Quinn last year was a guy that had 18.5 sacks. This year, he's only got 1. So it's a much different production that you're getting out of Robert Quinn. But the effect that I think it'll have on the Eagles is that it helps provide even more depth to their defensive line and their pass rush. And I think what we've seen from the Eagles is, number one, the headlines are Jalen Hurts, the 3 wide receivers, the Batmans, and the ability to run the football, throw the football, kind of a dynamic 2-way type of player, both running and passing at your quarterback position. And that's what carries the headlines. But the other part of the success of the undefeated Eagles is that they've got a really good defense, and they've got a really good pass rush, and they've got depth at the pass rush. And the trade for Quinn is kind of a no-brainer because even if Robert Quinn might not be as effective as he had been in previous years, even if he's fallen off the cliff a little bit, he's 32 years old. What Howie Rosen is betting on is for a 4th rounder, it's worth it for depth.
Howie Rosenberg.
For a 4th round draft pick, Howie Rosen, it's a no-brainer to go grab Robert Quinn.
Howie Rosenberg.
Yesterday we had longtime Lions linebacker Stephen Tulloch on the show, and he was an Eagle at one point, signed by, I believe, Howie Rosen. And
Howie Rosenberg.
Called him Howie Rosenberg.
Unbelievable.
So the Eagles are really good, and they got a little bit better. And they only gave up a 4th rounder to do so. So it feels like the Eagles know, hey, this is our moment, this is our time, and I appreciate that. I like teams that go in because they say, we're not scared of not getting it done. We're trying to get it done. I like that. And I like this Eagles team, the way that they play, the way that they're balanced. And I still think, unlike the Rams, who have collected all of this talent but also became incredibly arrogant in doing so, I still think there's a level of humility at the moment for the Philadelphia Eagles. So I like what they did there. I think what it might also do is it might force the hand of other teams in the NFC, perhaps the NFC East. Maybe the Giants want to make a move. Maybe the Cowboys want to make a move. But this Eagles team right now is the class of the NFC, and they just got a little bit better. I don't think it means that they're a guarantee to make the Super Bowl, but at this moment in time, nobody else in the NFC really scares you. Now, the Eagles and Giants have 2 more games to go, and the NFC East is going to beat each other up, and so we'll see. If after the season is over, and it's either the Cowboys or the Giants that might have superseded the Eagles, we'll see. But at the moment, you can't bet on the Packers, you can't bet on the Rams, and you can't bet on the Buccaneers. And I'm not a Vikings believer. I believe much more so in the success of the Eagles than I do of the Vikings. You tell me, would you put your mortgage on Kirk Cousins in an NFC Championship game?
No.
I mean, right there. How much confidence would you have Kirk Cousins in Philadelphia NFC Championship game? 0?
How much?
Less than 0?
Non-existent.
Non-existent, right. So the Eagles right now are the team to beat, and they are helping themselves get better with this trade. It doesn't lock in a Super Bowl, but it certainly puts the rest of the NFC on watch. They're the best, and they just got a little bit better as well. When we come back here on the DA Show, more from the NFL. Reports are that Bill Belichick is now turning back to Mac Jones against the Jets on Sunday. What is Bill doing? We'll explain. DA, CBS Sports Radio. So one of the women from 90 Day Fiancé, somehow there's a star of this show. She is now jarring her gas and selling it, she says, for hundreds of dollars per jar.
And Erica did the math. $5.75 a jar it's averaging out to.
Which is just outrageous.
Stephanie Matto is the name of her.
If we believe Stephanie Matto is making this much money off of it. Now, Dixieland Dan is upset. Dude, shut the bleep up, Mraz. This is nasty as bleep. You need to be banned from the airways for 2 shows, you dirty bleeping bird. I'd rather hear Jody Mack wheeze and cough than hear you talk about sucking farts out of a jar.
Oh, that's where he draws the line.
Mraz has created his top 5 list of people that he would purchase jarred toots from. Pete, cue the music. Okay, start at number 5.
Number 5, DA, Sports World. 2 of them will be sports related. I'm going Shaq. I feel like Shaq would have a heavy, dense base in that jar, and I'm curious on the blowback from the new chicken sandwiches he's been peddling in stadiums. The Shaq brand, knowing that you've smelt that brand, would be enormous. Number 4, this really tests the theory of two things: females and heavy-set people. I'd love to smell a Melissa McCarthy heater. I think that there's some potential there to debunk the theory that only heavy-set people lay the smelly bombs. And also, frankly, Melissa McCarthy, a little funny, little she would get it, little giggly. Number 3, I'm going to go to a guy who, without him, I may not be in this chair, Ray Romano. That's a lot of Italian food. That's a lot of, fun-loving, good Ray Romano stuff. I'm sure he eats a lot of good stuff but remains thin. And I feel like thin people that eat good, that's an interesting dynamic. Number 2, it's got to be Eli Manning. Look, I owe so much of the happiness in my life to him. And I know he crushes Bud Lights. I know he crushes beer. And I know he can be a fun guy. And look, that's championship farts for me. That's my favorite championships. And if I could have those rings and those memories and have the gas that goes along with it, I'm in. And my number 1, and I don't really think there's a debate in this worldwide, and like something I might consider paying $5.75 for. I would love Mila Kunis's farts in a jar, okay? She, to me, ever since that 70s show, has completely grown on me. She, I'm not going to lie, I'm very attracted to Mila Kunis. And if I know that she packs a punch on the back end, she's going to humanize that effort for me. Mila Kunis, to me, should be everybody's number 1 fart in a jar purchase.
So you would find her more attractive based on huffing her gas?
Yeah, it shows me she can get down and go out to dinner the way I like to go out to eat. So yeah, absolutely. I'd be turned on by that. 855-212.
This is so horrendous. Pete, you actually scribbled together a few notes on this.
I did. I came up with a 5 people that would be interesting.
Okay.
Not that I would go purchase it, but 5 people that would be interesting. I would say Betty White would be. That's age.
100-year-old Betty White.
That's age. A lot of experience. Then you have Balky. Balky from Perfect Strangers. You got to make, just
Bronson Pinchot.
Yes. And then Alf. Alf comes from another planet. You have to see what that's all about. And then Russell Wilson because of Mr. Unlimited and diarrhea poop. And then just for all the old time's sake, for all the old listeners of the DA show, Burt Lancaster. I threw him in there.
We may never recover.
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
CBS Sports Radio. Live from CBS Radio Studios in New York City, it's the DA Show with your host, Damon Amendolara, featuring producer Mraz and the musical sounds of the Zap Zap Orchestra. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's DA.
All right, and a happy Thursday to you, everybody. We come to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios when you need cash out of your home, and a simple way to get it, Rocket can. Coming your way in 20 minutes. We've got Stunned to a News, but also you may remember late last week when Mraz was out due to a myriad of reasons, Pat, a.k.a. Don't Call Me Tom Boyle, made a proclamation. He said the NLCS isn't going back to San Diego.
Tom Boyle.
He said 1-1 NLCS is going to be over by the end of the weekend.
Tom Boyle.
And he was so confident the Phillies were going to the World Series. He said if they don't and the Padres come back to win this thing, and this was when it was 1-1, he said, I will shave my head on air. We said, that's bold. Okay, what do you want if you're right and the Phillies win? He said, I want cheesesteaks. I want you to all deliver Philly cheesesteaks to me on the air.
Good morning.
So we said, deal. Tom Boyle, you're in.
Tom Boyle.
And he was right. It never went back to San Diego as the Phillies took all three, games 3, 4, and 5. And so now today at 20 minutes past the hour, we shall serenade King Tom Boyle. Was there ever a King Tom? Don't think so. King Pat? Don't think so either.
I just called a woman's listening Bialy. I'm not going down my monarchy history.
So the great King Tom.
Tom Boyle.
will accept said cheesesteaks coming up this morning on the show in about 20 minutes from now. Also in 40 minutes, Greg Jennings spoke out against Aaron Rodgers' recent critique. We'll discuss. But let's talk about the Patriots for a moment here. Oh, God, DA's talking about the Patriots again. No, hear me out. Okay? This take might not be your conventional DA tear down of the Patriots take, okay? Reports are that the Patriots are going back to Mac Jones this weekend at MetLife against the Jets. Now, Belichick is not going to confirm that. Belichick's going to keep this a guessing game. Belichick sounds stupid these days in denying what the truth is, what he's going to do, what everybody knows he's going to do, what we know he knows, what he can't admit that he knows, all that type of stuff. He sounds stupid because they're losing. But this is what he has always done. So expecting different is illogical. So he's stonewalling questions about this, but reports are that they're going to go back to Mac Jones. And to me, Bill made a mistake, but this is ultimately the solution. Okay? So I disagree with something that he did, but I agree with what he's going to do. The mistake that Bill made was pulling Mac Jones from Monday night's game and denying that it had to do with productivity on the field, gameplay. It might have been the decision all along to play both quarterbacks. But when you pull Mac Jones after 3 series, so basically 25% of the game, and then you give Bailey Zappi the other 75%, it was not an equitable split. You weren't really playing 2 quarterbacks. You were playing one until he messed up. And he did. So it was performance-based. And to deny that flew in the face of logic and made it seem ridiculous. You know, all Bill had to say is, we need better production of that position. Mac will learn from this. That's it. And then you can move on with, yes, we went to Bailey Zappi because we need better production. Mac said all the right things after the game. But Bill sounds A, out of touch, B, silly when he denies that that was performance-based. So there's where you start losing credibility because you're not winning. Again, if the Patriots are 6-1 and he does this, he doesn't have to explain anything to anybody. But if you're 3+ years running of not winning a playoff game and you're now sub 500 and you've got a quarterback controversy, now you start losing credibility when you don't say things that are obvious. So that's where I think he made a mistake. Just there say, yes, that's a performance-based decision. We're trying to win the game. And at that point, I thought it was right to make a change. And that's all that has to be said. You don't even have to explain more than that. Where he's right here is going back to Mac Jones, because a lesser coach, and here's where I'm going to defend Bill Belichick, a lesser coach stays with Bailey Zappi because Bailey Zappi's more popular. Right now, you saw that crowd on Monday night. I mean, as Mac Jones is going 3 and out, they're chanting for Bailey Zappi. The crowd is chanting for the backup quarterback as the starting quarterback at home is playing. Should be noted, Mac Jones went to the Pro Bowl last year. He's not Carson Wentz. He's not a total joke. Now, was that Pro Bowl nod deserved? We can debate that. But last year, the toast of the town. This year, they're chanting for his backup in the game. Zappi comes in. The crowd explodes. We played that clip on Tuesday morning, which was hysterical. Scott Zolak, who we love, is yelling that the crowd sounds like it's the AFC divisional round against the Ravens. Meantime, it's a Monday night against Matt Eberflus and the Bears. But the crowd was insane. You could see it, you could hear it, you could feel it on TV. The crowd was insane. So, a lesser coach who's sub 500, who's scrambling right now because he hasn't won a playoff game in 4 years, and his owner has talked about how poor the drafting has been, and he's scrambling to figure out the quarterback situation. The easy answer here for Bill is to go with Bailey Zappi because Bailey has the public support. And I think he probably has some of the locker room support as well. Zappi and the Patriots played well at Lambeau, lost ultimately, but nearly won that game. They end up winning a couple of games in a row. And Zappi started to feel like he understood the offense, good play action, good touch on the ball. You know, you can maneuver around with him, and the crowd loves him. And when the crowd loves him, bending over backwards, hoping that he's in, and the din of the media in Boston, which is loud, is banging the drum for Bailey Zappi because he's the hot backup quarterback, the popular guy, the name. There's Zappi Hour. That's easy for players also to be like, yeah, you know what? This is good because you're getting asked all these questions about how fun it is. What do you see from Bailey? What's he do well? You know, all those things. So mentally, this is a harder screech to a halt for Bill to do, which is go to Mac Jones. Again, Bailey Zappi could lose a couple of games in a row and nobody's going to boo him yet. But he's doing the right thing because while the fans, the media, the observers on the outside would look at Bailey Zappi and go, you could have the next Tom Brady again, which, again, I like Buck, I like Aikman. It was one of their worst moments to invoke Tom Brady's name on Monday night when Zappi got in. They think they might. Could this be Tom Brady? No. I'll bet everything I got that we didn't see the greatest quarterback of all time on Monday night come in for Mac Jones and then get benched again. I'm going to bet solidly we are not watching the second greatest quarterback of all time with Bailey Zappi. The bit is Zappi is just Zappi. And Zappi now has film on him in the NFL. And it was fun when he first got in, and he's got a great name, and they won a couple of games against bad teams. But what Bill knows is once you have film, that magic runs out real quick. And Zappi is a wonderful story, got a fun name, but the reality is he's been bypassed a million times by a million different personnel people because he's not a great quarterback. He played 4 years at Houston Baptist. So nobody in the FBS wanted to give him a scholarship where he could play. Then he finally gets in. It's Western Kentucky. And he was great. But it's also a non-Power 5 school. So first, no FBS team wants to give him a scholarship. Then no Power 5 team wants to make him their starting quarterback after a transfer. Then he passes through 4 rounds of the NFL draft before anybody takes him, before the Patriots do. Then he's the third-string quarterback coming into the season and only gets in there because both Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer are injured. The better player is Mac Jones. Now, Mac might not be a great quarterback. I don't think that he is. But the better player is Mac Jones, and so what you can't do is relent to public popularity here. If the Patriots are going to win anything significant this year, which is a playoff game, I mean, that's their limit. They might make the wild card, and then they might win a wild card game. It's with Mac Jones. It's not with Bailey Zappi. And what Bill needs to do is protect against this idea that you can throw anybody in there and the system will end up saving the day. Because ultimately, under center, that's not true. He can swap out corners all day long. He can swap out defensive linemen all day long. He can trade away offensive linemen. He can bring in no-name running backs. You cannot win anything in this NFL if you think a quarterback's just a quarterback. It'll never work anymore. It will never work. I just had Jeff Hostetler on the show, Sunday Morning Football last week, and his story is impossible to replicate today. It's not even today's NFL. Phil Simms brings them to 10-1. He gets injured. Haas has to come in the final month of the season. Does so and has a couple of great throws. Couple of big throws. Comes in for an injured Simms. Gets into the playoffs. And the mobility of Haas really did help the Giants win that Super Bowl. But I mean, they could throw for 170 yards and win a playoff game. When Nick Foles came in for Carson Wentz in 2017, Nick Foles threw for 370 yards in the Super Bowl. He was the MVP. Haas wasn't the Super Bowl MVP. Otis Anderson was. In today's NFL, your backup quarterback can't come in and hand the football off 30 times. Your backup quarterback's got to be able to play like a starting quarterback and like a star quarterback to win a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson ain't happening anymore. Trent Dilfer's not happening anymore. It's not happening. Joe Flacco's only Joe Flacco. But for 4 days in January of 2013, Joe Flacco played like Joe Montana. Mac Jones, you're not winning a Super Bowl with. But Bailey Zappi, you're winning even less with. So you've got to figure out whether Mac is a long-term solution. Last year he looked like it. This year he hasn't. You've got to let him play through this. So starting Mac on Sunday against the Jets isn't the popular move. Nobody in New England wants to see him. They want to see Bailey Zappi. But it's actually the right move. Bill's doing the right thing. When we come back here on the show, we serenade Tom Boyle with his cheesesteaks, and we've got Stunned to a News. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Louder, Danielle, louder!
Squeal, pig, squeal.
Everybody out loud!
No.
Back.
Are you gagging?
Get that nose in that pudding, Perez. Get that...
Oink, oink. Oink, oink.
Do we have an EMT there?
Perez is going in for the pudding. He's smearing it all over his face. He's bobbing for bacon.
Oink, oink, oink. Oink. Aaron Boone sucks.
Feed the pig.
That's right. Tell us all about the 2021 Yankees, Mraz.
They're not going to survive, and neither am I. Oh, my God. You know, bacon's not bad, but I'm so overwhelmed with a cold.
Feed the pig.
What did the pig say? No, Taylor's not having it. Nobody's having it here, DA. It's a bad scene. No.
Oh, she is not happy. We don't have a happy kitten with a daycare. She's covered in chocolate. I'm covered in chocolate. Oink, oink, oink.
Where is Danielle? Is Danielle witnessing this?
Yeah, she's the one filming the sky cam right now. She's not happy with the scene. She's not happy she's got to clean my kid up. She's called it disgusting. Do you hear any comments? I mean, Danielle.
I just said it was disgusting.
You can't get it. You're not looking at the mic.
This is disgusting.
Be quiet. Danielle is now questioning whether I need to eat the whole pie.
Oh, you got to keep eating. You got to keep eating until all the bacon's gone.
Oh, all right. All bacon gotta go.
Can we get the picture of Taylor up there? Cap, you got to cut to Taylor right now. This is amazing. Look at Taylor. Witness what Daddy's doing.
Get a real job, Taylor. Get a real job out of college, sweetheart.
Taylor is stunned. She's stunned to a news. Witnessing Daddy oink like a pig and eat bacon out of pudding.
What's a pig do? Oink, oink, oink.
She's oddly unfazed by this as well because she's seen so much in her 18 months.
She's not fazed by this at all. This is normal life. The poor kids at preschool, if she can talk. Oh, man, I got chalk on the microphone. I think I...
How's your Darren Williams jersey, more importantly?
Not good. I think I got pudding
It's
in
the
my
only
eye.
one left.
I got something in my eye. Oh. All right, Tayller.
All
Bury it
right,
in.
well done. Well done.
Feed the pig.
Oh, no. Taylor's now going in to eat like a pig.
Oink, oink, oink. Good. No more Yankee bets. I'm done.
Feed the pig.
Tell Danielle thank you very much for...
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's the DA Show on CBS Sports Radio.
And happy Thursday morning to you, everybody. This season, for the first time, you could hear Westwood One NFL broadcast streamed live for free. Mondays, Thursdays like tonight, Sunday nights, the International Series, holiday triple headers, every playoff game. Catch all of the action on the Odyssey app, WestwoodOneSports.com. Westwood One station streams or by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports. All sponsored by AutoZone. Time to say goodnight to that check engine light with the free AutoZone Fix Finder service. It'll help troubleshoot the likely cause of your light for free. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Watch the show at watchda.com, won't you? You can watch on Twitch or on YouTube every single morning, and all of those are mobile-friendly as well. So check us out by checking us out on the simulcast on your phone. Okay, so last week, the great Pat Boyle a.k.a. Tom,
Boyle.
claimed on these airwaves when he was filling in on the show for Mraz on Friday that the NLCS was not going back to San Diego. He was so confident in the Phillies that he said, if the Padres win the NL, I'll shave my head on the air. And we said, what do you want if you get it right? And the Phillies do win. He said, I want cheesesteaks. I want all the Philly cheesesteaks. We said, okay, fair enough. You got it. And, of course, the Phillies rattle off 3 consecutive wins at home to wrap up the NLCS in 5. And by Sunday night, Tom Boyle was triumphant.
Tom Boyle.
He comes marching into our studios today to collect all of his winnings. And we wanted good old-fashioned cheesesteaks from a good old-fashioned hot grill. And so Wawa, which is a Philadelphia staple, is a gas station / eatery. Because, yeah, around Philly, you eat meals at your gas stations. They've got a delicious Philly cheesesteak at Wawa. We said, okay, we got to get Wawa. We got a 24/7 one because who's open this early to make cheesesteaks? We'll get it done. And Kevin Wall said, I'm there for you guys. K. Wall has had a great run with us here on the DA show. Kevin's been a fantastic diaper D-alien. He said, I pass a Wawa in the morning. I will pick up the cheesesteaks. And we said, all right. He's got the order. He's coming in. And Pat Boyle and Kevin Wall were driving separate cars, but right next to one another. It was like a NASCAR race up the turnpike through the Holland Tunnel. Right there, side by each. They were 1 and 1A. Tom Boyle stepped into our studios 33 minutes ago.
Tom Boyle.
At this point, Kevin Wall is still in the Holland Tunnel. It makes no sense. We don't know why. Wall was supposed to be here top of the 8 o'clock hour 23 minutes ago. Nearly a half hour after we're into a second segment and he's not here, he's in the tunnel. What the hell happened to Kevin Wall?
Ho, ho. He is MIA. He said he went into the one fire lane, too, to even cut off some minutes.
How much traffic was there? You guys were next to one another.
Well, I'm in Hoboken, so I'm right across the river. So it takes me, without traffic, 15 minutes. Now, I knew there was going to be traffic coming in at 7:30, 7:15 in the morning. So I left at 7:15. Took me just under 40 minutes to get here. Kevin Wall's coming from by the Jersey Shore.
But I thought you guys were right next to one another in the tunnel.
That's the way Wall, I think we're getting Wall caught in a lie here. Pat's just ahead of me. Me and Pat are coming together.
He said we're coming together.
And that first interpretation was Wall and Boyle are in the same car.
In the same car.
Then it was Pat's just ahead of me.
Hey, this is Kevin Wall from CBS Sports Radio.
I was told Pat's in the tunnel. I'm about to be in the tunnel. But then that was an hour ago, and Wall's only just gotten in the tunnel.
Now,
I give Kevin credit because he volunteered to bring the cheesesteaks.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be in here today. He volunteered to get the cheesesteaks, volunteered to come in.
I think he severely underestimated the traffic coming in here when he was filling in for Kaplan at 5:30 in the morning versus 7:30 in the morning.
Well, also, this is not his first transportation hiccup this week. He texted you and I, Pat, yesterday that he had just landed from Jacksonville. He went down there for the Giants and Jaguars game. That was 4 days ago. How did he just get back
yesterday? He was in a show manifest.
What happened?
What happens in Duval stays in Duval. But no, apparently he had
He said it was a 30-hour travel day.
Yeah, they canceled his flight. They had a snafu with the flight. He was supposed to fly back on Monday, and they canceled the flight until yesterday. So he was in Jacksonville for an extra 2 days, and then he was texting you and me. I don't think he landed back in Jersey until yesterday at 9 o'clock at night.
Jacksonville to New York is a 2.5-hour flight. It might be less on some days. It took him 30 hours.
Knowing Wall, he booked a layover in North Carolina and a layover in Baltimore to get a $40 flight.
Did Kevin Wall book a Spirit Airlines flight that had 2 layovers from Jacksonville to New York?
At that point, just rent the car and drive home.
Did he have a layover in Buffalo?
Exactly right. Flies to San Francisco to come back to New York.
He flew to Seattle to see the Giants play the Seahawks, and then he's coming back.
So Kevin Wall had a 30-hour travel day back from Jacksonville and now is a half hour late on the bit.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa is late this year for Christmas.
How soggy are these sandwiches
Ho,
going
ho,
to
ho.
be, too?
Have fun with those.
Well, so Kevin asked, how many sandwiches do you want? And I said, well, there's going to be 3 of them for Pat Boyle. 1 from me, 1 from Bogusch, 1 from Bilotti. Mraz was not in that day to make that bet, so the 3 of us. Bogusch conveniently out today. I mean, who knows why, but so he's not even here to give Pat Boyle the cheesesteak. But we bought 3 anyway. That was fair. Okay, so I bought the cheesesteaks. Well, I will once Kevin Wall gets here 30 days from now. And then he also asked who wants them to eat themselves. So I said, yeah, I'll have a cheesesteak, of course, for breakfast. Why wouldn't I? That's a delicious, healthy breakfast, well-rounded. And Mraz said, I can't say no to a Wawa. Give me a chicken cheesesteak.
Which are fantastic.
So you're getting a chicken cheesesteak.
Yeah, high protein.
Pete was deciding on whether or not to have a breakfast belly bomb for Wawa, and he decided
No.
no.
No belly bomb?
It was a little, that type of sandwich was probably a little much for me.
Well,
Yeah.
and Pete also, he couldn't be caught bringing a lunch sandwich home from this place ever again.
Yeah.
So he's got scars.
Yeah. And in the place I'm going to be, there's some other options that I can have for lunch.
Okay. So we have 2 other Sandos coming in. Our Sandos is going to be so cold.
I'm not even worried about the cold. You can microwave cold. I'm worried about the sogginess.
Totally
What are you worried about the sogginess with? The cheese?
Well, the cheese and the chicken or the cheese and the steak, once that grills on that hot griddle and you put it on the bread, if that's sat for a couple hours, the bread starts to fall apart.
But if it's,
And a good sandwich can be ruined by bad bread.
but if the bread is toasted, which Wawa does a fantastic job at doing, it would absorb the cheesiness, the gooiness. It should hold.
I hope you're right. Every time I get Wawa, I can't even sit in the car before I devour it. So I'm very, very cautious.
They have Wawas on Long Island?
No, I make a trip. I make sure I leave Sesame Place and go every year.
Hawaiian Tony Danza has some thought to the show. He says, I want to toast Mraz. As DA is listing the names of kings, a.k.a. King Tom or King Pat, Mraz says he's going to stay out of the monarch names. However, naming kings would be naming patriarchs, not monarchs. Mraz, never change. Hashtag Tangier Chicken.
Booskies! Hold up. Monarchies are governing bodies with kings and queens. Are they not?
Yeah, but I don't know if that's the same.
I didn't say they are a monarch. I said the monarchies. I'm staying out of the monarchies.
Yeah, you don't name the monarchy. You name the patriarch that leads the monarchy.
But there's not a patriarchy. It's just a patriarch. I was saying a monarchy.
Big Lar is toasting to his beautiful daughter, Reagan. She is 8, starting shortstop for the under-10 traveling softball team. Great job, honey. Your hard work is paying off. Hashtag fruit tasting booskies. Hashtag Mighty Mouse.
Booskies!
Dr. John is toasting to all of his fellow Pirates fans. The sheer resilience required to support a team this bad. I was 19 before I saw a winning season. Makes you very special. Yankee and Mets fans have nothing to complain about if you ask me. Hashtag ARG.
Booskies!
I've got breaking news.
Toasty Thursday. Breaking news, yes?
Kevin Wall is here.
Wow. Finally made it through the tunnel, huh? Okay. Well, we'll get to your chicken cheesesteaks and your beef cheesesteaks and your delicious cheesesteaks coming up here shortly. But standing by with headlines is the dessert coordinator, Brad Heller. Dessert coordinator, take it away.
All right, DA, thank you. We're sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit Progressive.com. Well, starting tonight, did you know this? There is live college or pro football on TV for 27 consecutive days.
You're kidding.
Starting tonight.
So Tuesday Maction and Wednesday Maction begins this week?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess that would be the only option for those Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
And I think there's another fringe conference this year that's jumping into the well besides MAC on like Wednesday nights or something.
Okay.
27 consecutive days. Let's go.
So that's basically all of November. We've got football on every single day.
So through Thanksgiving, basically.
Okay.
And then by the end of November, we have the other football on with the World Cup.
That's a lot of football.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of football and then football. This is going to be a great fall and winter.
And you may want to get a foosball table for the downtime.
All right. All starts with the Ravens and the Bucks. Thursday night football in Tampa. Todd Bowles' team we know they have problems on offense coming off just the 3 points against the Panthers, but also defensively tonight trying to contain Lamar Jackson.
He brings a huge challenge for us because he's probably the best runner, not just quarterback runner, but one of the best runners in the league. Very smart, can throw the ball down the field, strong arm, very elusive. Even if you blitz him, you're not going to catch him.
And the Bucks are going to be very short-handed in the secondary.
Todd Bowles sounds like Tim Meadows doing Ladies Man.
Does. He does.
We're going to blitz them all the way down the field. Cavalier. Ladies Man.
You listen to
we
Bowles.
We got to make sure that we make sure we protect the quarterback, but then Ladies Man.
How did you have a good Tim Meadows ready to go?
Cavalier.
Also sounds like a little In Living Color-esque.
Yeah, Bowles is amazing.
Yeah.
I wish he was a better coach. I like Todd Bowles, but he's just not a great coach.
You listen to him and you listen to how defeated Brady sounds. Where's the motivation for this team? I mean, if your coach is not motivating just in the way he sounds and peppy, at least your quarterback is. But you put these two together, it's like, all right, what am I suiting up for tonight?
Womp womp.
Bucks, all kinds of injuries, offense and defense, especially in the secondary. Antoine Winfield Jr., Carlton Davis, and Sean Murphy-Bunting all out for tonight. The Bears traded pass rusher Robert Quinn to the Eagles yesterday for a fourth-round pick, and the move made Roquan Smith a little emotional.
Sucks. Yeah, like I'm gonna take a second for a second, if you don't mind. No, I have a great deal of respect for that guy. Damn. Crazy.
Damn, we're gonna suck.
I mean, jeez, he didn't trade Deacon Jones. Can we calm down here?
Well, hey, I mean, Quinn did set the single-season franchise sack record last year. He's only got one this year.
I think the harsh reality is we just came off our best win of the season.
That's
and 2
what it
days
is.
later, we're selling pieces away.
Yeah, with the second year of a quarterback, it's usually the time you start, trying to cash in on that rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of quarterbacks, the Patriots are reportedly going to stick with Mac Jones as the starter Sunday against the Jets over Bailey Zappi, although nothing confirmed, as expected, from Bill Belichick. On to baseball. Well, still another day before we get to the World Series. Phillies and Astros tomorrow in Houston. The Astros a perfect 7-0 in the postseason so far. Their last loss actually came to the Phillies the end of the regular season on October 3rd. Here's Phillies skipper Rob Thompson.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, because you see their pitches, their shapes, that type of thing. A little different adrenaline rush for them in that series. Obviously, this will be different being in the World Series. But I think for our hitters, it does help quite a bit.
The pitchers for the Phillies, at least for games 1 and 2, Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler. That was confirmed by Thompson yesterday. The Astros haven't confirmed it, but Justin Verlander expected to start game 1 for Houston tomorrow night. The Astros, of course, coming off the sweep of the Yankees in the ALCS, but that's not going to cost Aaron Boone his job as manager. Owner Hal Steinbrenner told the Associated Press yesterday that Boone will be back. He said, as far as Boone's concerned, we just signed him. And for all the same reasons he listed a year ago, he believes Boone's a very good manager, and he doesn't see the need for a change there. GM Brian Cashman will see. His contract expires at the end of the month.
Yeah. Brian Cashman will be there for the next 20
forever.
years.
He'll be there forever.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you, Brad. Squishy Liquid tweets, I've got a toasty, eh? What?
We're not doing stunned?
Oh, that's right. Sorry. Stunned is here. I'm
Roll
sorry.
it.
Let's do it. Let's get stunned.
It doesn't take much to surprise this bouncing baby boy.
This is honestly the most stunned I have ever been on the show to a news.
The DA show is stunned to a news.
So we go to Chelmsford, Massachusetts,
Okay.
the Newhouse Wildlife Rescue, not to be confused with the Newhouse School of Communications at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Although maybe it operates the same way, because at this wildlife rescue, there are beavers there that behave like college roommates, I guess. There are 2 beavers, Neeby and ZB, who share a room together, and there was video posted on Facebook when one of them was taken out of the room. The other one tried to set up a makeshift dam of sticks and branches so the
Really?
other beaver would be able to come back in.
Wow.
It's kind of wild. Like, just with his nose and moving sticks across the floor to the doorway to not allow his roommate back in.
Is there any reason why the Beavers are at it?
They just don't get it. There have been a couple of videos posted. They just don't get along. The one
We
Beaver
don't know.
doesn't like the other. I don't know if ZB came home late one night and woke Neeby up. I don't know what the deal is. But it's literally like the one Beaver went out to the semi-aquatic enclosure to have the rehab room all to herself, and Neeby took sticks from the floor and moved them off to try and barricade the doorway.
You know, it's amazing. Animals are so smart. You don't realize how smart they are, but here is clearly building resentment between the two beavers. One beaver's like, I don't want you around here anymore. Stay out. I'm building a blockage in the dam to the rest of the dam. Don't want you around.
Like, I want to watch Friends at night. You want to watch Seinfeld. This is a problem. So the second you leave the room, I'm not going to let you back in.
By the way, we didn't see the monkeys do this to the other monkey with the lady tapping on the glass. They could have built a dam and said stay out, but we all were convinced they didn't like the other monkey anymore.
Well, how would the monkey build a dam, though?
Don't they have thumbs and stuff? They're different than beavers.
But what would they build?
I don't know, a bunch of tree trunks and whatever else is in there, and you build a wall. A
Build-
dam is a wall.
But, I mean, but the beavers are like chewing up branches from the woods, and they're actually acquiring the stuff to make a dam. The monkeys are kind of at, the mercy of what's ever in their enclosure.
But isn't that kind of what the beavers are using? What's in their enclosure? I mean, the monkeys could chew and build and stuff.
Is this in a zoo? Is this out in the...
It's in the new field thing, the new house.
No, this is actually inside this room. The video has gone viral. They share
I
a
thought
room.
the wildlife rescue was like on a big reservation.
Well, I'm sure it includes other parts to it, but the video that was shown was just in this quote recovery room. There's a cage in there and some other stuff, and there were just some like sticks and twigs on the floor of this room that the beaver's like moving towards the doorway. Like, you are not coming back in.
You can't tell me the monkeys didn't have more to work with than the big enclosure. Of course they did.
Wow.
Just shows you Bogus continues to be wrong. Good story, Brad.
All right, thank you, Brad. Squishy Liquid tweets, I'm toasting Somalia Bialy. Not only is it a great breakfast, but also she's a pretty good game show host, too. Hashtag Booskies.
Booskies.
Mraz called Mayim Bialik Somalia Bialy today. Somalia Bialy. Offensive Minx tweets, Belichick deserves no credit for not bowing to public pressure. He can get away with anything. He could have shown up to Kraft's wedding mid-ceremony, thrown a glass of wine at the bride's face, yelled, "You'll never be my real mommy," and left and not be fired.
That's the tweet of the day right there.
Belichick yelling at Kraft's new wife, "You'll never be my real mommy." That's awesome.
If I ever saw that, I think I'd retire right after that. That's all I need to see in this business.
When we come back, Greg Jennings criticizing Aaron Rodgers yet again, and we bestow the ceremonial cheesesteaks on Tom Boyle. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Well, the whole key to a starting five is a little bit of diversity, right?
Right.
I like playing a lot of my chocolate favorites up in my front court. So I have a center, two forwards here. Okay. Give me my Reese's Peanut Butter Cups powering right in the middle. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, sometimes you don't want to pick them because they're too common. But that's how damn delicious they are. You need a peanut butter cup in every Halloween bag. I'm going with a Twix at one of my forwards. It's still unbelievable. Bob Ryan's never heard of it. It is the one, with the cookie crunch. Yeah. And I need those fun-sized bag of M&Ms when it comes time for Halloween. The M&M is the perfect candy. Sprinkle a little, melts in your mouth, not in your hand, pop it in your mouth. But that's a lot of chocolate, so you need a little fruit backdrop. My backcourt's all fruit, DA. Give me Sour Patch Kids. It's a little trendy, sometimes a little overlooked, sometimes can rip up your tongue a little bit, but I find it perfect to suck on those. And last but not least, I like a starburst. You give me a good couple starbursts there, you bite in, it might mess up your teeth, it doesn't matter, it packs that fruit punch. So starburst, Sour Patch Kids, peanut butter cups, Twix, and M&Ms for me.
I do wonder how Starbursts are made, considering they do really they stick in your mouth and they get gummed up in your jaw for like a long time. That's not how things should normally dissolve in your mouth, but
I'm sorry that you guys interpreted this a certain way, and if you guys felt that somehow you had to pick up any extra slack or anything, I'm very sorry that you guys felt that way, and yeah,
that's the apology.
You got 4 sorries there.
Not in good faith.
How is that not in good faith?
Weaseling out of everything. You can't just apologize for going on strike.
I apologize myself for going on strike.
And for thinking that we needed to apologize to you because of the Astros.
Well, that I will not apologize for because you guys still owed me that, but I'm going to, in good faith, hope that you do that over time. And
We're not.
I'm sorry that obviously the show suffered without me, and I put the show in that position yesterday. So I'm sorry.
So that was a backhanded diss at us, that we didn't do a good enough show without him yesterday.
Sorry that I put the show in a position that it could not be the best Monday after Championship Sunday show that it could be. That I apologize for.
And did you say something under your breath during the apology?
I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
I heard that too as it started.
What exactly did you say?
There was something.
I said, I'm sorry. I sneezed.
You sneezed.
That I put myself in position on this show. Again, I maybe I apologize myself as well for doing that.
You apologize to yourself.
Uh-huh.
And
I owed myself an apology, too.
You did?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because yesterday was a very unstructured day for me. And I put myself in that position. I should have just, done the usual show pony business. But, I tried to have a little pride in my work. And it led to this. It led to a massacre. So, look, I think we also learned yesterday there's one mature adult out of the 4 of us. And that was it. So, again, I'm sorry that everything unfolded the way it did.
And which person is that?
Well, that'd be me for standing up for something.
You're the mature adult.
Yes. So I'm happy to be back with you guys. I think, moving forward, we should have a really good, productive morning show. And, now the SAT's back on, and we'll go from there.
You sat in the back of the room shivering, in need of a microphone.
I did.
I'm hungry. I'm tired. I can't believe this.
That's in my blood, and this show provides an outlet for me. I don't know what else I'd be doing with my life. Clearly, it wouldn't be...
One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Good value, big upside. It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
I present to Pat Tom Boyle not 1, not 2, but 3 Philly cheesesteaks. The winnings. All 3 wins in Philadelphia wrapped up the Phillies National League Championship. Boyle breaks apart his first, looks into the meat, looks into the cheese, and devours.
Oh. That's so succulent and delicious.
Puffiness with
that was a
sodium.
real bite. You could see the meat push back and explode left to right on the cheeks.
That's good stuff, man.
Is that
It's
a good
so
Sando?
succulent and delicious.
Uh-huh. Oh,
Food is family.
that's Philadelphia.
You called your shot.
I'm going to call it again. They're going to beat the Astros.
Oh, you want double or nothing? You want
No.
3 more cheesesteaks or we
No.
shave your head?
No, I don't want to put my hair on the line this time, but
Tell me what was the reaction to watching the Phillies take all 3 as you knew the bet was on the line?
it just felt like this team felt like a team of destiny. When they got in, I thought Milwaukee was getting in all the way up until like the last couple days. And then they pummeled Atlanta, and I was like, this team's going to do it. And I just, to me, San Diego wasn't that good to begin with.
So you were smelling the Phillies way back when they beat the Cardinals.
Yeah, when they beat the Cardinals, and I was like, this is not going to be an easy series for Atlanta. And then they pummeled them, and I was like, I felt like, well, I guess rightly so on paper, everybody gave the advantage to San Diego. They had just taken care of the Dodgers. The pitching was great. The lineup, even without Tatis, was still stacked. But I felt like that was basically a 50-50 matchup. So I said, you know what? Let me take the value here. Let me take the odds. Let me take the Phillies. And sure enough, they are proven to be the team of destiny.
Yeah, but you're underselling your confidence in them. You're like, let me take the odds. You at 1-1, you were convinced they were going to the World Series so much that you put your hair on the line.
Oh yeah.
So you were locked in on the Phillies.
Yeah, I was locked in. Philadelphia's got that's some special stuff going on in Philadelphia, let alone New York. So I just figured, look, to be honest, did I really think it wasn't going back to San Diego? No, I thought they would win in 6. But, I mean, again, they keep proving people wrong.
Is it possible Boyle just doesn't value his hair as much as we think he should?
Well, Bogus did bring up the theory that he was prepping to get a haircut anyway and
I
just
heard
put
that.
his hair on the line.
I heard that. That's not correct. I'm letting these blonde locks go as long as possible, man. These puppies they're hanging on as long as I can.
It's grown out a little bit, though.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
You're seeing your roots.
I look disheveled. Well, I got a hat on.
When you take off the hat, Boyle, you look disheveled.
Okay, well, I wasn't planning on taking off the hat.
For the rest of your life?
For the rest of today, going golfing.
Oh, yeah?
Hence the outfit.
What's your handicap?
Many.
Many.
Many strokes.
Any worry about an oopsie eating 3 cheesesteaks before playing 18 holes? Because I know I would be filling up the cup with not putts.
But poops. I'm not worried about that. I'm going to pace myself. I'm going to finish this one before I leave. I'm going to have another on the front 9 and another on the back 9.
So the steaks are making the cart?
Oh, absolutely.
Like to be the person behind you.
Boyle's crushing 1 cheesesteak now, 1 on the front 9, 1 on the back 9 today to eat 3 Philly cheesesteaks.
I need a pair of underwear for every steak if I was playing golf.
And cheesesteaks are technically a daily serving of everything. So you have 3 daily servings of
That's 6,000 calories.
Yes.
Well, when you prepare for a feast, when the monarchies prepare for a feast, do the kings and queens not eat what's given to them?
That's fair.
That's fair. All right. So the victor go the spoils. Pat Boyle is crushing his cheesesteaks, and we still don't see Kevin Wall anywhere in the vicinity. Somehow he is still not here. He threw the bag of cheesesteaks out the window. We gathered it, and now he's back in the tunnel. We have no idea where he is.
Good on everybody.
Like an Amazon driver.
DoorDash. Kevin Waldash.
Yeah. So Greg Jennings took... That's right. Awkward transition air horn. Greg Jennings took a shot at Aaron Rodgers for Rodgers' critique of the personnel. And the one thing is, Jennings, right message, wrong messenger. Greg Jennings has had a hair up you-know-what for Rodgers for a long time. So when I saw that Greg Jennings took a shot at Rodgers, I'm like, well, yeah, of course Greg Jennings is taking a shot at Aaron Rodgers. that in and of itself is not news. How many times has Jennings taken the chance to take a shot? Him and, a couple of other guys have kind of consistently gone after Rodgers as former teammates. The point to me was, forget what Jennings said specifically. Again, wrong messenger, right message. It's just that Rodgers is overstepping his boundaries because Rodgers has been empowered to overstep his boundaries. This is a deal with the devil that Gutekunst, Gunty, my man, and Matt LaFleur made with Rodgers last offseason. When they threw out the window the Jordan Love succession plan and said, we don't trust that and we do trust you, it made good football sense. Jordan Love, the unknown, Aaron Rodgers, the known. And Rodgers came off of an MVP season. And they were validated because he then had another MVP season last year. You cannot deny today that what Gutekunst and LaFleur did a year ago was the right football move. But in doing so, there was going to be a double-pronged threat and the risk. And the risk was at some point Rodgers is going to start falling off. Maybe not for a while, but at some point. So did you bet correctly on when that's going to be? Is it going to be within the contract that you signed him to? That's the first risk. The second risk is when you empower Aaron Rodgers, you have an empowered Aaron Rodgers, and that's a problem. This is not a man that knows how to check his ego. He doesn't. That is his blind spot. His blind spot is not realizing how he comes off to the outside world. He is so wrapped up into Rodgersville that he does not think about how he's perceived or how it comes off. If he does, he always thinks everybody else is wrong. In this case, it's so simple. It just goes, Aaron, of course you can have a say in who should start. And of course, if guys are making mistakes, they shouldn't play. And of course, if you think that the offense is too simplistic, you can tell us that and we will work with you. Of course, all of those things. But the trade-off is you just can't do that publicly because it undermines everybody in the operation. Privately, all of these concerns that you're verbalizing are totally fair, but you must keep them private because publicly it does nobody any good. But what Aaron then swings it into, and this is again the blind spot, is I'm not going to be a robot up there. I'm going to say exactly what the truth is, and the truth hurts sometimes, and modern society can't handle the truth. Like, it's not about delivering the truth. I hate to break it to Aaron Rodgers. You've done press conferences your entire life. If a reporter says, well, tell me which safety you think is most vulnerable that you're going to attack on Sunday, he should just answer truthfully then. Well, it's going to be number 26 because he can't do this, that, and the other thing. We're going to throw the first 15 deep passes his way. Aaron, can you tell me exactly, who made the mistake in the huddle for that play to be blown up? Yeah, it was 88 because he didn't do this, that. There are some things you must keep to yourself or else you would expose everybody to what is unnecessary. And here, it's not about being a truth seeker. It's like this is just the way you protect your cause and your organization.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
They're facing who? Again, another Uncle Rufus and you know what, the seven dwarfs out of the bullpen today? I'm supposed to say that Luis Severino, who may have started the All-Star game this year had things been planned out properly, can't beat 8 stiffs running out of the bullpen for the Oakland A's tonight? What are you kidding me? At home?
A week ago, you wanted Happ in this game.
I wanted Tanaka.
You know you wanted Happ or Tanaka in this game, and now suddenly the Yankees decide something else, and you convince yourself it's the right move.
Well, because I love Severino. He's my guy. He's my ace. He's still their ace. And
you and my guy stuff.
You know what the beauty of this whole thing is? In this stupid world of baseball analytics, finally, unlike Joe Girardi, that idiot, I have Aaron Boone showing some going with gut instinct on a starting pitcher instead of playing by the book and starting Happ. I love that.
There is no gut instinct on this.
Give me the guts.
This is no instinct. This is we assume we'll beat the A's with anybody, and we want Happ against the Red Sox.
Easy. It ain't like he's starting Lance Lynn tonight. It is Luis Severino. The guy's pitched pretty well the last 2 weeks.
Tanaka or Happ gives you your best chance to win. You know that tonight. You know that, and they're saving them both for the Red Sox.
Severino is throwing at least 6 innings tonight, 2 runs max. This is a Yankee blowout no matter who they...
Yankee blowout.
I think the Yankees win this game like 8-2 tonight. I really do. Last night we had our classic game. Tonight the Yankees just take care and lay the wood. These are the Oakland A's, DA. I mean, you had John Heyman yelling at you they needed a stadium by trading for J. Bruce Familia. Come on. They're coming into our house in the Bronx, Seven Nations Army. Everybody's singing. We're going crazy. They got no shot. What, Jonathan Lucroy? Chris Davis doesn't spell his name with a C. This is who's going to spook Luis Severino and the Yankees tonight? What, you get serious? The Oakland freaking A's?
I can't wait till they shove it right in your snout. They're going to shove it right in your snout.
The best part for Oakland is that this game's in Yankee Stadium. We have to go to the huge sewage deposit that is the O.Dot Coliseum. It's over, baby. Luis Severino throws a gem tonight. Then J. Happ beats Chris Sale. Then Tanaka beats David Price. And suddenly, Luis Severino, ball in his hand. We're going for the sweep at Yankee Stadium on, I guess that would be, Monday.
Break ends in 5 seconds.
Good morning.
Morning.
It's a beautiful morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wake up, mister. Starting up a brand new day. It's such a good vibration. Such a temptation. It's such a
CBS Sports Radio.
What's up, DA? Permission to enter the mothership, brother.
Ever heard a sports talk show like this before? Didn't think so.
What's going on, Dirty?
It's DA on CBS Sports Radio.
DA, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling great.
I'm doing great.
Happy Thursday, boys and girls. Let's have ourselves a morning. I've got one question and one question only. How do you feel?
Well, I feel good, and I'm doing well.
That's all that really matters. And we come to you live from the Rocket Mortgage Studios. Need to know what it takes for a home to fit your budget and your family? Well, Rocket can. Coming up in 15 minutes, Brian Dawkins is going to join us. One of the greatest safeties ever. Weapon X. Eagles legend. We'll talk to him about that 6-0 Philly start of the addition of Robert Quinn with a 4th-round draft pick. They trade for the Bears defensive pass rusher, which is a smart move because what's a 4th-rounder in today's day and age? These GMs get all caught up in that, oh, man, the middle-round picks, they could be so valuable. Who cares? 4th-round pick, if you get any production out of Robert Quinn and you help win a Super Bowl, it's all that matters. You hang a banner, you get a parade, boom, it's worth it. No doubt. And look, Les Snead, bleep them picks. You know, that's the attitude of as long as you get a ring. Now, you better get the ring if you trade away all of your draft picks. In this case, though, it's only a 4th-rounder, so no big deal. So I like that deal. For the Eagles, might force the hand of somebody else like the Cowboys or the Giants to do something else before the trade deadline coming up. We shall see. But the Eagles add Robert Quinn. We'll talk to Brian Dawkins about that and other things around the NFL coming up here on the show in 15 minutes from now. This weekend, there's going to be a London game again. Oh, goody. We have Broncos, Jaguars from London, early slot on Sunday. And some are reporting that there's talks within the Broncos organization to fire Nathaniel Hackett if he loses this weekend. That's the wrong decision. I'll tell you why. Nathaniel Hackett might be a complete and utter disgrace as a head coach. He might. What we've seen through the first 7 games of the season is a 2-5 record, 5 straight losses, an offense that averages 14 points per game, which is last in the NFL, and is last in every significant offensive category, and Nathaniel Hackett is supposed to be an offensive guy. Russell Wilson looks busted. The offense is completely busted. Undoubtedly, there is evidence to suggest Nathaniel Hackett is awful at this job. The early decision on the opening Monday night to kick the field goal, 65-yarder. Week 2, all of those awful game management decisions. A punt return team that went out there without a punt returner. I mean, look, Nathaniel Hackett has had how many instances of being bad at this job? However, you're not in this for a half season. You're not in this for a full season. You have to make Russell Wilson work for 4 to 5 years. And so this season's shot. You're not coming back from 2-5. This team is just, it's not going to do anything. And also, if it got to the playoffs, what is it against the Chiefs? What is it against the Bills? You know, let's say they scramble around and get themselves to 9-8 and back into the playoffs. Is that worth it? If you fire Nathaniel Hackett and somehow, you know, go on a little bit of a run with an interim head coach? No. Yes, Nathaniel Hackett was not your hire as this ownership. That was the previous ownership, and then the team was sold a couple of months later. So you could argue, hey, this is not our guy. But if there's even a semblance of a chance he could turn this around, you have to give it to him. Because, again, you're not trying to win a Super Bowl this year. You've got to make Russell Wilson work 2023, 2024, and maybe 2025 before you can get out from under that contract. So what I would do is I would say, look, I know it's ugly now. We might lose to the Jaguars in London. We might score 14 points a game all season. You got to give him year 1. And let's see if there's anything that could show a build into year 2. And if there's not, Okay, if there's not, fine. We move on and we try to hire somebody else. But you have to give this some leash because this is a long solve. You know, when you fire a head coach, it's because time had run out. He had lost the locker room. You were going to move on anyway. But I don't think you can say that with a head coach after 7 games. I don't like moving on from a head coach after one season. I think 1 year is not enough time to really, truly figure it out. Bill Parcells is the great example of this. Parcells went 3-12-1 in his first season as the head coach of the Giants, and people wanted to run him out on a rail. The Maras, notoriously patient, much like the Rooneys, and said, we're not going to fire the guy after 1 year. But after 2 years, yeah. And this is what has happened with the Giants the last 3 coaches. They got 2 years. McAdoo, Shermer, Judge. I think you do really need to give a guy 2 seasons to figure out whether or not he's the guy. And Nathaniel Hackett's been really bad. But I don't think it's fair to figure out whether it's him or Russell Wilson after 7 games. Because it might be Russell Wilson. Now, you're going to fire Hackett before you can cut or trade Russell Wilson. That's just the reality. But you got to give this more time because, again, even if there's a 10% chance Hackett's the guy, see that through until the end of the season. This is a 5-year deal. Hey, look, it's a 7-year contract with Russell Wilson, but you're hemmed in for a minimum of 4, probably 5 with him. So let it play out. The second thing, if you are the Denver Broncos, is get on the phone with Sean Payton's agent today and say, Sean, are you interested? Is that undermining Nathaniel Hackett? Sure it is. But Hackett doesn't deserve, you not to suss out your options. I mean, he's not a Hall of Fame head coach. Get on the phone with Sean Payton's people and say, you might be interested in Dallas, but if the Dallas thing doesn't open up this year, would you be interested in Denver? And if he has an interest, you've got to follow that lead as long as you can. Again, he might definitely want Dallas, and that's up to him. Maybe he doesn't want to come back. It's all signs point to he does want to come back and coach. But the Cowboys' job might not be opened up after this season, which would be the best Cowboy thing ever, where the 1 year Mike McCarthy outcoaches everybody else is the 1 year Sean Payton is available, and McCarthy has to come back for next season when he ends up going 6-11 next year, and Sean Payton's already coaching somebody else. But you make that call. You make that call. Gauge his temperature, but you don't fire Hackett after this weekend because there's no use in saving this season. You've got to find the long-term solution, and the interim head coach this year is highly unlikely to be your long-term solution. After the season, they end up going 4-15. What is it, 4-13 now? And you have a hot offensive coordinator that's done a lot of great stuff, and you're like, no, that's our next guy. All right, after the season, okay, if it's really that bad. Not now. When we come back, Brian Dawkins is going to join us. Let's talk some Eagles football with Weapon X. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Here's Perez. Doesn't know where the stamp goes when the origin was. I did know where the stamp goes. It's an important thing that has to get somewhere. I just wanted to double check. And now here I am. I'm ostracized. Am I? Oh, no. No! What is it? It's not an ostrich, the bird. No! Ostracized. Come on! Come on, Pete. What? Now you screwed me again. Ostracized.
The best part was as it was coming out, Mirage goes, no! Oh, no!
Come on, the morning was going well.
Ostracized. No! Oh, no! Oh, what have I done? No! Oh, no. No.
I hate this job.
Philly Joel tweets, Ostrich Eyes has to be the number one contender for Year of the Buffoon in 2021. Chuck tweets, this year's Year of the Buffoon is going to be a mini series, isn't it? There's just too much gold for just one. Can we play the entire clip here again, Pete? Because listen to Mraz go down the road of defending himself and then quickly pivot to panic and crying out because he realizes how stupid he once again sounds in trying to defend his stupidity.
And now here I am. I'm ostrachized. Am I? Oh, no. No. What is it? It's not an ostrich, the bird. No. Ostracized. Come on. Come on, Pete. What? Now you screwed me again. Ostracized.
I gotta say, it's all worth it. Every bit of frustration and anger and disappointment that I may have is all worth it because my sides hurt so badly. I haven't laughed like that in how long? Oh my God.
No.
Oh no.
No.
I spilled the milk again. No. No, I dropped the pie again. No.
It was poop again, not chocolate chip.
No.
Oh, I ate a dog turd again. No.
This speaker doesn't work either.
No.
Oh,
I bought another piece of electronic outside of a trunk.
No. Come on.
This lake isn't salty either.
No. This zoo wasn't named after a 1970s pop group either. No.
Another bear without a tail.
No. I thought they all had tails.
Come on.
No.
All right.
Another explorer wasn't a pilgrim. No.
Come on. Oh, no.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
It's new on CBS. We've got it all together.
It's the DA Show on CBS Sports Radio.
We appreciate you being with us. And you can watch us every single day at watchda.com or on Twitch or on YouTube. And today will be the Twitch post-game show. So 1/2 hour after we are off of the air at 10:30 Eastern Time, approximately 7:30 Pacific, I'll log on, Cap will hook me up, and we'll do the Q&DA for another Twitch post-game show. This Thursday night football preview sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. A reeling Tom Brady and the Bucs host Lamar Jackson and the Ravens tonight. FanDuel has Tampa as a slight 1.5-point favorite, even though they haven't played like a favorite recently, dropping a pair of games in a row against the Steelers and Panthers. Yikes. Ravens are trying to get a second straight victory after beating the Browns 23-20 last weekend. That is tonight on Thursday Night Football. Our next guest is always such a fantastic conversation. He was known as Weapon X during his days as a Pro Football Hall of Fame safety. He won every award possible for his incredibly athletic and violent play on the field, an emotional guy on the field as well. And he's always tremendous to join us to talk about his life, his career, and football in general. Joining us this morning on the show is Hall of Famer Brian Dawkins. B-Doc, good morning.
It is. I agree with you. It is a good morning.
It's a good morning. That's right. It's a good morning. So the Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated, last undefeated team, and now they add Robert Quinn via trade, a pass rusher. What do you make of the trade? What do you think Quinn helps the Eagles with?
Veteran, first of all, not just a veteran, but a talented veteran who's done it, has success, right, in a major way. And then for me, and I love this aspect about it. I love the competition that also brings back into, continues to add to that room. So now you have a whole bunch of defensive linemen that are going after the same thing as far as getting to the quarterback. So I can only imagine that there's a healthy competition amongst those guys who are there, and then adding another quality pass rusher into that realm will help them even elevate their game even more. So, like, I love the move. Absolutely love it.
Do you think that this season coaching has been a big part of it, or is this just a perfectly balanced roster? Because Nick Sirianni says and does some quirky things, but he's right now winning a lot of ball games. How much is coaching here versus how much is talent here?
So a couple of things. If you go back to last year, you understand that in the beginning of the year, they were throwing the ball like there was no such thing as a running game.
Yeah.
Right? The first 7 games.
Yeah.
And then they changed the halfway and begin to do things differently by running the ball, and they're still doing that. So that's coaching, right? That's knowing the players, knowing you have a good offensive line that's now a great offensive line. You have quality running backs, and you have a quarterback that can run the football. So you're utilizing that, and you're still throwing the ball, but you're still leaning on your running attack. On the defensive side of the ball, they were absolutely, oh my goodness, vanilla the first 7 games, giving up a boatload of yards on a continual basis. They kind of changed some of that and was a little bit more aggressive towards the end of the year. Coming into this year, you've added so much quality defensive line play up front. You don't need to blitz as much because these cats are getting after the quarterback. Now, we still need to get more pressure on the quarterback. But the thing about it is coaching and players, we go hand to hand. You can't coach if you don't have the talent, right? And the talent can't go out to perform at its max if they don't have guidance. So it's a combination of both. But I will give these 2 young coordinators, these 2 young individuals, a lot of credit for, again, changing the philosophy that they had from last year. And it looks like a completely different team this year.
The great Brian Dawkins, our guest this morning here on the DA Show on CBS Sports Radio. You ended your career in Denver, and right now the Broncos are really struggling. What do you see as the main reason why Russell Wilson, the offense, has been so bad this year?
It's hard to come into a new place with a new coordinator and click right off the bat. It's tough. I know some players have done it, and so because some players have done it, everybody thinks that all players should be able to do it. It's not quite that easy. It is not. Now, they happen to have a fantastic defense, and they're keeping the points down. But offensively, they're struggling to who are they? What is the identity of that offense? They do have a running attack, but who are they in passing the football? They don't know that yet. So until they come up with the understanding of who they really are as far as throwing the football, they're going to struggle.
I want to ask you about Leroy Butler because he's a friend of the show. He's a Jacksonville guy like you are, and he finally got into the Hall of Fame this year. And he was the last member of the All-Decade team in the 1990s to get into the Hall of Fame. long time coming. He's such a beloved figure in Green Bay, but he's also such the nicest guy of all time. And since you're a Jacksonville guy, I'm wondering, you came up in the 90s when he's doing his thing with the Green Bay Packers and they're winning a Super Bowl. What relationship do you have with Leroy, and do you have a friendship where when he got into the Hall of Fame, it meant something to you?
Absolutely. First of all, he's a Jacksonville native. He's a North Side. Like, even though he's not technically North Side where I live, but like he's on my side of town as far as that is concerned. And then you have another safety from Jacksonville going to the Hall of Fame. How could I not be proud of that? Because we, as you're talking about that from your perspective, which is great, and I appreciate that. But now you have to look at another individual from our side of town. When I say our, the north side of town is majority African American, of individuals being able to highlight what can come out of that same neighborhood. Like what can come out of that when you do things a specific way, when you handle business a specific way, when you allow your talents to speak loud for you and your character is high as well, what can happen? Like, that's another thing for me. So absolutely, I'm happy that the fact that he finally got that recognition for doing what he did and being a very versatile safety back in the day.
Yeah, when I realized you guys were both Jacksonville guys, and he speaks so glowingly about Jacksonville, and we've had him on the show, I was thinking, boy, I wonder if B-Dog looked at him as a role model growing up, because he was a couple of years older than you. Did you follow and track his career when you were growing up?
Not a whole lot. I mean, my guy, I'll just be honest with, like, Ronnie Lott was my dude. So
okay.
Now
that's a dude. That is a dude.
To me, he's the greatest of all time. Still to this day. So like he's still to me what a safety is.
I mean, some of the hits that Ronnie Lott laid on running backs and wide receivers would get you kicked out of a game these days. He was so vicious and violent, and it is so great to watch. I'm not even going to apologize to say it. Still watching Ronnie Lott highlights is just such a rush, isn't it?
It is. It is, and it was. And again, for me, it's not just the hits. And people always talk about Ronnie Lott when it comes to the hits. But here's one of my way that I see the game, and I always talk about defensive backs, safeties being chess pieces, is because of what Ronnie Lott did. Like, Ronnie Lott played cornerback and made All-Pro.
Yeah.
Ronnie Lott played safety, made All-Pro. Right? So he can do whatever you needed him to do on the football field. That's a chess piece. So now you're seeing guys, and that's what I tried to do. I wanted to go out, and I wanted to have every statistical category with significant numbers, because I watched Ronnie do so many different things, control the game, and be basically a game changer on the football field. And it wasn't just, deep middle. It wasn't just, he can only do this or only do that. No, he can do all of the things, and he can do all of it very well.
Yep. One of the most vicious and tremendous safeties of all time, was actually an all-pro corner as well, to show you his range and athleticism. Brian Dawkins joining us this morning on the show. You are here on behalf of Novo Nordisk, and the Eagles and Novo Nordisk have a good relationship there, and it's helping you make your post-career life a little bit more comfortable, a little bit better. So how's it working?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blessing. It's a blessing for me to be able to team up and shed light on something that we often take for granted, and that's our health. And making sure that we're doing things in such a way to allow us to, and that's the slogan goes for the last 5 years now, be the best version of yourself. That's something that's everybody's saying, right? In order for you to do that, the way that this has been titled, Tackle Your Health, speaks volumes for me, because I'm an aggressive dude on the football field. I understand the significance of how to tackle something aggressively, and how I tackle things or people aggressively is the same way we have to tackle health. That means that we have to have a game plan. Like, what is our game plan for health? Do you have a game plan? If you don't have a game plan for your health, then you have a game plan for your health, and it's not a good one. And so teaming up with your doctors, making sure that you go out, making sure you understand that your history as it pertains to potential type 2 diabetes running in your family. Like, does that exist? If it does, there's different things that you can do. And if you Google Philadelphia Eagles, Tackle Your Health, the websites will come up for you to be able to look at some of the things that you can do to help you help yourself for the time being until you then make the appointment to go see the doctor so you can really get a better game plan for your life. Because ultimately, your health is wealth. Your health is wealth.
PhiladelphiaEagles.com/tackle your health is where you can go as Brian is talking about that. B-Doc, you said that Ronnie Lott was your dude, but you are a lot of other people's dudes for the way that you played your career. And you've always been very generous with your time, and your PR team has been great for us as well. So thanks, as always, for sharing the stories, sharing Norvo and the information with Novo Nordisk. And hopefully we'll catch up with you again, man. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure. Brian Dawkins joining us this morning on the show. Always awesome stuff from B-Doc. Always awesome stuff, isn't it? Now, Upside Down Mike says, B-Doc is the reason I became an Eagles fan. Heart, passion that he played with, the hits he laid on receivers, drew me to the Eagles and been a fan ever since. I love when you guys have him on the show, #WeaponX. So do I. You know, I love football so much, and I grew up on the NFL, and it's so dear to me, which is why I'm very emotional about some of the things that I think they do wrong. But Dawkins is just one of the guys that, in my mind, fits into the tapestry of the greats of all time. You don't have to think about whether he's a Hall of Famer or not. You just know that guy changed the game. That guy was one of the all-time greats. That guy can walk into a room with Ronnie Lott and Mel Blount and the great defensive backs of all time, Rod Woodson, Deion Sanders, and just walk in and he just belongs. That guy just flat belongs. And those guys, there's a few of them, but you know when you see them, Dawkins was absolutely that guy. The Knockout Neil, who we got to meet and spend time with at Bob's Bar over the summer. Oh, Captain, my Captain, I'm toasting to cold showers. I made the transition to pure cold. Only one drawback, I'm going to need the trainer who worked on Darnay Holmes to wake him up. #Bacon Boys.
Booskies.
Drink Up Youngstown says, hey, DA, Patti Smith did not sing the hit The Warrior. That was Patti Smythe, who was married to John McEnroe. Patti Smith was a punk icon. We sorted this out earlier. I thought they were both pronounced Smith. I didn't realize Patti Smythe with the Y was pronounced that way. We all got it wrong. Mea culpa around here. Our bad. My bad.
Again with the McEnroe,
We
though.
did it 2 hours ago.
Enough with the McEnroe.
Well, some people listen on delay. You know, the Odyssey app, you can listen when you want to listen.
But that's not even interesting to the story.
And it's a great song. Doesn't matter who sang it.
DJ Tommy D tweets, even though it's Patty Boyle's day, watching Mraz eat his cheesesteak live on the simulcast is just complete comedy. First off, he's missing fries or onion rings. Next, he's looking for some kind of sauce. Finally, you can see the sadness in his eyes as it gets smaller. LOL, go Giants.
First of all,
Actually, his best one.
how fat are people that they need fries or onion rings and sauce? It was just fine the way it was.
Really?
So you don't have that sandwich at all with fries?
No, I find I've really migrated off of fries with big, heavy sandwiches. You want to tell me I get maybe little barbecue chips, maybe, but no, it's too heavy. You don't need the fries. Come on, guys, we're not that fat.
What do you have with heavy sandwiches?
And usually just the sandwich. It's enough. You got the bread and the meat. What do you need to double dip?
So DJ Tommy D got that wrong. You were not looking for fries. You weren't looking for a dipping sauce.
No, I was looking to make sure I got it done before we had to be back on the air in 5 minutes.
Were you getting sad as it was getting smaller?
Of course I am. It might be the last time I have Wawa till next summer. Of course I am. Now, 24 hours ago, I didn't know I was having Wawa today. So that was a nice surprise, but it makes me sad. I love Wawa.
Wawa.
So I don't have it. It's good.
Wawa. Wawa is a Philadelphia staple, which is why we got the cheesesteaks brought up here for Pat Boyle, a.k.a. Tom Boyle, to revel in his prediction.
Was that a
Tom
dog?
Boyle.
What?
Am I going nuts or did I just hear like a dog bark out of nowhere?
No dog bark. You might have heard the Tom Boyle drop.
Tom Boyle.
That's all I played. What's wrong with you? It must be the sandwich.
I'm not joking. I wonder if that virus did something to you.
You're telling me nobody just heard a dog bark?
There was no dog bark. Now, Heller coughed.
With the mic off. With my mic off.
okay, maybe that was it. Maybe I heard the cough, and it wrapped around the walls and into your microphone, and it sounded like a dog barking at the park.
But I wonder about that virus you got because we still haven't diagnosed what virus it was. Because one of your daughters got COVID. One of your daughters got, what's the other one?
RSV.
RSV. Neither one's good, but you didn't get either one of those. But
No,
you got something.
I tested negative for COVID 3 times. My wife also did alert me that at the pediatrician, I didn't pick up on this, the pediatrician dropped the COVID test on the floor and then put it back in.
What pediatrician you're visiting?
Welcome to West Babylon.
Oh, my God.
So we think that maybe she didn't have COVID and it was the floor that did. And everybody just had the RSV because they didn't test my other daughter for that, and then maybe that's what I had.
But all three of you guys were puking your guts out last week.
That's what started it. But then all of these viruses don't translate to puke, so we're thinking there could have been some kind of food poisoning with me feeding the girls on my own. And then we also all had RSV.
Wait a minute. You fed the girls on your own.
My wife was away. I was in charge of dinner.
Uh-oh.
I made some chicken.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Okay. And it was fresh chicken, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I had thawed it from the freezer. I left
Okay.
it on the counter all day, and then I made it.
Uh-huh.
We ate, okay? My wife came home. I had the girls in bed. We all went to bed. I had the alarm set, 4 a.m., coming to work the next day. At midnight, it was a puke fest in my house. On top of runny noses and coughs, it was like you had everything going on. Then the next morning, my one daughter's fever spikes. My wife brought her to the pediatrician. The viruses they were diagnosed with, both on the floor and off, had nothing to do with vomiting, essentially. So my theory here is we, simultaneously, as much as the sinkhole was in my backyard, got food poisoning and the RSV virus.
It is possible that you did poison your children with old chicken, and then that lowered their immune system to where then if they were fighting COVID or fighting RSV or something, it then inflamed and they got fully sick.
Yeah, whatever happened. I mean, it was like a witch's brew of stuff going on in my house.
That's definitely what happened. Danielle didn't get sick.
And that was true. Danielle did not get sick. Now, she got a little sniffles by the end of the week, but nothing like we had, and she was away from us for 48 hours.
Chicken was rancid.
But bad chicken doesn't cause RSV.
But it could destroy your immune system if you're vomiting all night.
Yeah, we all got everything. It was like at once. It was like the clock struck midnight, we all turned into pumpkins.
Yeah, vomiting pumpkin.
For me to call out at midnight, I mean, it was a lot going on there.
Did the doctor think to check for food poisoning?
No, because the coughs and the fevers. That's not food poisoning.
Yeah, but you were throwing up all night. What is that from?
That might have been the food poisoning.
To say all three of you were throwing up at night. What am I missing? Am I missing something?
The pediatrician did tell me they can't check me because I'm an adult too. I'm like, but if I got the same symptoms, just diagnose me.
You were like Schwartz in a vet trying to
But I'm
soap your
not.
hand.
They're a people doctor. I'm saying I got the
They're a
same,
people
doc.
doctor.
Let me know what's going on.
This is the healthcare system on the South Shore.
Yeah, but she dropped the COVID test on the floor, apparently.
You might want to see a new doctor then. I think that's a really easy statement to make.
Anyway, you got something. You've had something for how long? You haven't been able to laugh fully in 3 months. You've been kind of
3 months is not true.
It's been raspy and gargly for a long time. This goes back to the summer. You had something. You haven't been able to laugh correctly since the summer.
I had...
It's almost November.
I keep having setbacks. I come back and I get a week or two where my lungs are strong again, and then it falls back. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm dying. I don't know.
He's not exactly treating his body like a temple either.
Well, something's going on. I don't know. But
I could have got secondhand smoke from Tommy Heaters. Who knows?
Yeah. At least you crushed that Philly cheesesteak this morning. I'm sure that was really good for your voice.
No, man, I'm energized now. Protein.
There you go. Energized for how long? Maybe an hour?
Enough to get me through one giant turd today.
You take it in one giant turd?
Every Thursday, one giant turd. Free on the Odyssey app.
I think we know it more as that than the real name.
It's so true.
Oh, valid points.
Brad Heller has our final headlines of the morning.
All right, guys, we're sponsored by Lowe's. Where can you holiday shop for the tools you want, any way you want? Lowe's, actually. Check back daily for deals during Black Friday month and start saving now at Lowe's. Have you seen these comments? Broncos GM George Payton addressing the media in London today as they get ready for the game with the Jaguars?
No, because it's the middle of the afternoon there.
So here we go. He says he believes in Nathaniel Hackett and supports him 100%. Here's the quote. He's been in this 7 games as a head coach. The scrutiny he's faced is unprecedented. We've had 4 primetime games, so he's kind of had to learn in front of the entire world.
Okay, so they're not going to fire him after this game, which I said I don't think they should.
As for Russell Wilson, Payton said, I'm not concerned. We're in it for the long haul with Russ, not the first 7 games. We believe in Russ. I believe in Russ. And then he goes on to say, obviously the results aren't there. Obviously not good enough. 2-5. We all need to get better, and it starts with me referring to himself, George Payton. I do believe in this football team. I do believe in the people in our building, the coaching staff, that we can turn it around. Those are quotes from the Broncos digital team, George Payton in London, Broncos and Jaguars coming up Sunday. What do you think?
I don't think they should fire Nathaniel Hackett. Like I said at the top of the hour, I think this is a long play. You've got to fix Russell Wilson somehow. Interim head coach does you nothing this year. The season's over anyway. Let him play out the year. See if they can turn it around. If they don't, you could fire him at the end of the year, but I wouldn't do it now.
But a guy like Sean Payton might have the integrity saying, I'm not talking to you if somebody else is owning that job right now.
I think Sean Payton, how much integrity does the guy have? He's already basically politicked for the Cowboys job privately.
I guess.
So,
I mean, Kevin James did play him in a movie.
You just tell, if he tells you, hey, I would be interested if it were to open up, you're like, that's all I need to know. And then, you fire Nathaniel Hackett when you need to fire him.
But we know Hackett stinks, right? Like, you think he's going to get better?
I don't think there's any, look, like I said, there might be a 10% chance he's good. He's hired for a reason. I don't think they were the only team that would have hired him.
He was hired the same way Adam Gase was hired.
He was hired hoping that he would draw Aaron Rodgers, granted. But I don't think that was the only team that would have hired him. So there must be something there. So let's see. It doesn't matter. Like, if you fire him today, nothing changes. You get an interim head coach. They're going to suck anyway. What could this year be, even if you did get a better interim?
And they don't even have their first-round pick, so they can't even lose.
There's no reason to lose. Yeah.
Jeez.
Do you think the scrutiny is unprecedented that he's facing?
That seems to be hyperbole.
Might be much. Yeah. Well, Week 8 kicks off tonight with the Bucs and the Ravens in Tampa. Both teams are in first place, even though the Bucs are 3-4. Ravens are 4-3. Bucs have lost 4 out of 5. Their problems have been slow starts. Tom Brady and company have been outscored 34-15 in the first quarter this season.
Playing with leads are great. That's obviously what you want to do every week. And, you got to earn your way to a lead. I think that's the important part. It's just, you don't start the game up 7-0 or 14-0. You got to go do something about it. So I think we got to focus on what we have to do in order to get the ball down the field and score points.
We keep waiting for it to change with the Bucs and with Brady in this offense, but I don't know, maybe it
doesn't
just
seem
won't.
to be changing.
Yeah.
No matter how long we wait, I don't think it's going to change tonight either. I think the Ravens win this game.
Might have to factor that in as we look at lines and, whether or not to support the Bucs anymore.
Maybe. When the Wizard has to decide whether to lay the 1.5, this is something he might be weighing.
Take your time.
I will.
Yeah. This is a tough one. The problem for the Ravens, that's been finishing. They had double-digit leads in all 3 of their losses this season. The trade, the Eagles and the Bears. The Eagles coming off the bye, undefeated, looking to improve that defense even more, getting Robert Quinn, giving up a 4th-round pick. The Bears take on the Cowboys Sunday. Ezekiel Elliott might not play because of a knee injury. The Eagles, coming off that bye, will host the Steelers. From the NBA, Steve Nash was ejected for the first time in his career as a head coach. He picked up back-to-back techs in the third quarter as the Nets lost in Milwaukee to the Bucks 110-99.
I was just standing up for our guys. I thought Patty took a forearm in the throat from Giannis right in front of the ref, and I didn't think that was fair. So I don't think I was overly demonstrative, and I was upset that I got a tech.
Look, this all started because it was Patty Mills, not Patty Smith or Patty Smythe, so I take responsibility for this. Just saying.
It's all your fault.
Blame it on me. Just throw it right on me. Giannis had 43 points, 34 coming in the second half. The Bucks are 3-0. They're the only undefeated team left. The Blazers suffered their first loss, falling to the Heat at home. Damian Lillard strained his calf in this one, but he doesn't think it's serious. LeBron and the Lakers are 0-4 after losing to the Nuggets. Not since LeBron's rookie year has he had this kind of a start.
What did you see as the difference in that third quarter when Denver made their push?
At one point, we was outscored 29-11.
Yeah, the Lakers are bad on offense. They're 8 of 30 from three-point range last night. LeBron himself was 2 of 8. They're near the bottom of the league in all kinds of offensive categories.
0-4 since he was on the worst team he's ever been on, which was his rookie year Cavs team. So this is arguably the worst team he's ever been on, and it has a top 100 player, top 75 player of all time in Anthony Davis. Was Russ on that team too? I think Russ and AD were both. That's 3 top 75 players of all time on the floor, and this is the worst team he's ever been on.
Meanwhile, the Jazz, who were trying to tank, are 4-1 after beating the Rockets. What's Danny Ainge wondering now? It's like, we're supposed to be losing, but we're not. And from baseball, Yankees owner Hal Steinbrenner told the AP that Aaron Boone will be back as manager next season. Mariano Rivera strongly disagreed, though. He said if he were owner, Boone would be out. He made those comments at a forum for Panamanian business executives. Rivera said, when things don't come out the way we want them, all the fault goes on the manager and somebody has to pay the price.
Thank you, Heller. Now, before we let you go as the dessert coordinator, we want to ask you a Halloween question.
I'm in.
Okay? All right. We played this game yesterday with Katie Linendahl. Gorge, marry, kill. Okay, so one of these candies you have to gorge on right now.
Okay.
One, you get to marry for life. Okay, so you get to eat it at your pace leisurely for the rest of your life. One, you have to kill off forever.
Okay.
Candy corn, circus peanuts, and Necco wafers.
Not 3 choices that I was expected to have to decide between.
Well, you're a savant. You're
okay.
You are the dessert coordinator. These are 3 of the lowest ranking Halloween candies
of all time. The circus peanuts are out. They're dead to me.
You kill them all.
They're dead to me, for sure.
Okay. You gorge on.
Probably would. Wow. I mean, candy corn is the only one of these 3 that I could actually tolerate.
What?
I feel like. I would have to marry the candy corn.
Okay.
And, gorge on the wafers.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I love Necco wafers.
You do?
I would marry them in a heartbeat.
Those powdery weird discs.
You know what they are? They are my Bucks creamsicle uniforms. I remember walking up to the card shop and always getting Necco wafers with Bob.
Okay, so you're marrying Necco wafers for the rest of your life. What are you gorging on?
I'll gorge the circus peanuts.
Oh!
Not the worst. Candy corns are the worst thing you could put in your mouth. I'd kill them.
Probably not the worst.
It's a love-hate with candy corn.
Okay, let's do this one more time with the dessert coordinator. Wax Coke bottles. Mary Jane's. And Good and Plenty.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Wait, what are Mary Jane's?
They're like that weird toffee. They're like a caramel. They're like a hard caramel.
The yellow paper, right?
Like caramel taffy.
Caramel taffy.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're yellow and red.
Oh, gosh. Kill those.
Okay, kill the Mary Janes. Okay.
Good and Plenty I would probably gorge on. And then the Coke, yeah.
Marrying wax Coke bottles?
For the rest of my life. Give me a lifetime supply of the wax Coke bottle. The lesser of the evils there,
Whereas?
I think I marry the Mary Janes.
Okay.
I think I marry the Mary Janes. I don't like wax Coke bottles, so I'd kill them all.
Don't they have a little bit of sweet Coke flavor in the middle?
There's not a lot, but there is a little bit.
I think I would probably marry those. I could take a little hit of sugar Coke every so often.
And I guess I'd gorge on the Good and Plenties. I mean, they're a knockoff bad Mike and Ike. So, I mean, I guess I could gorge on them a little bit.
No, there is no little bit. You have to gorge on them.
You know, at 5 a.m. you find the Good and Plenties at the bar. Sure, they look all right at that time.
I don't think Good and Plenty's.
Gorge away.
They get a bad rap, I think.
You do? You think so?
I like Good and Plenty's.
Really?
I don't mind them.
They taste like medicine, I feel like.
Well, you're sick then.
There you go.
That's actually
gorge away.
That's actually what Mraz's pediatrician gave the kids.
We're out of medicine.
Before the COVID test fell on the floor, they were noshing on Good and Plenty.
Hey, I'm Dr. Nick.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Nick. Here's your medicine. They're purple and white. Don't taste like licorice. Keep eating them. Actually, this Gorge, Marry, Kill game became immediately that much better. We had the worst options ever.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Definitely more
For the
challenging.
record, the worst Halloween candies by vote, Circus Peanuts 1, Candy Corn 2, Peanut Butter Kisses 3, that feels unfair, Necco Wafers 4, Wax Coke Bottles 5, Smarties 6, Mary Jane 7, Tootsie Rolls 8, Black Licorice 9, Good and Plenty 10. That's from 2022's worst Halloween candy rated by CandyStore.com. When we come back, advanced analytics and your epic fail. DA, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break.
Apparently, this idea was hatched where Taco Bell has encouraged its fans to create meals with Taco Bell items. And one of them that was a winner and eaten at a company party was this bisque. So, Mraz, why don't you just quickly go through how you made the bisque last night?
1 cup of onion, 1 clove of garlic, chopped up nice, thrown in a, if you will, a cast iron pot where 3 tablespoons of oil had been warming. Once they got nice and brown for 5 minutes and stirring, dumped an entire can of fire-roasted tomatoes, juice and tomatoes all. Let that get nice and warmed up. Quart of chicken or vegetable broth. Let that rise to a boil. Stirring that all up, melting the other. Once it's risen to a boil, take 6 chicken rolled tacos from Taco Bell, cut them into quarters. That's 4 for those of you scoring at home. Throw it in the boiling pot of broth, onion, garlic, tomato, and oil. Let that all melt together for quite a few minutes, 10 minutes. So bring it down to a simmer. Then you dump, I believe it's optional, you could dump some cilantro in there as well. Let that continue to simmer. Then you let it cool for 5 minutes. Put 1 cup of heavy whipping cream in a blender and dump that entire mixture you have in a pot in your blender with the whipping cream. Liquefy that up like you're making a good old milkshake. Pour and serve.
So this is a 6-pack of chicken rolled tacos melted down into a broth and then put in a blender with whipping cream.
Right. Also, there's other stuff, a pinch of salt, chili pepper, that kind of stuff.
So Taco Bell wants to create a Thanksgiving tradition. We love food and we love Thanksgiving. We said, let's give this thing a whirl. Pete the Body Bilotti, cue the music. So Taco Bell suggests eating this as a bisque with a spoon, but also using a hard shell taco to dip into it. Guys, why don't we begin by using just the spoon? I just want to see how this tastes.
Okay.
If you ate it as a soup. Okay.
And it does smell like it has melted nacho chips in it. You can smell the corn.
It smells kind of like if you were to melt down taquitos from like
Agreed.
But that's kind of what a rolled chicken taco is.
Right,
Taquito
right.
feel. Oh, I'm in.
See, it's delicious.
I don't know if it's delicious, guys.
It's good. The problem is, again, it's not as warm as it should be. I disagree with the trying it cold possibility.
It's really granular, though.
It is.
You really taste a lot of the taco shell.
But that's good flavor there. You could get this in a Mexican restaurant as a starter, 100%.
Not bad.
I don't think it's built for a spoon. It's going to be better on the taco.
Yeah,
This is built for a Tostito scoop.
Yeah.
This
is
needs
not
a delivery method.
Yeah, you don't eat this alone.
What do you mean? You could, if you wanted to make it by yourself and eat it, you could.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you wouldn't only eat it with just a spoon. You'd have to have something to dip into it.
Oh, right. It's more of a dip. It tastes more like a hot queso thing that you would put out.
It's just very cornmeal-y. It's really cornmeal-y.
You're trying to be a hater, and it's delicious.
All right, let's try this hard taco dipping in there. We have ordered a bunch of hard tacos from a Mexican place around here. They were nice enough to open up their kitchen before 11 a.m. for us.
And charge us the exact price everyone else got.
It's very nice. Gonna dip this. Now that's good. Now that's the winner right there.
Yeah, that's good.
If you put it on a taco.
Well, half my taco just fell apart in there.
I'm making a mess of the BG workstation.
Yeah, it's meant for that.
All right, good.
It's meant for that.
Because it's like putting a supreme sauce on top of the hard taco.
Yeah.
That's where the winner is right here.
I'm proud of Pete for eating his now.
You know what? This is a satisfying meal.
I think you did a good job on this, Mraz.
Thank you. Thank you. I worked hard on it. I really wanted to follow the instructions and make sure if we were doing this, I didn't want to give it a bad name if it didn't deserve a bad name.
Is it too much cornmeal, though? Because you have a hard taco and then a bisque or sauce that's made out of cornmeal.
No, see, I don't think it is. I don't think it is because you're getting enough of the other stuff, and there's a lot of ingredients in here. I'm in, though. You know what? I think this can be right next to the Andy Posh and the shrimp platter. I think this belongs right into the Thanksgiving appetizer table.
I think it's a little out of place at Thanksgiving.
Agreed.
It's a party.
It's a party mix. This is a good Super Bowl dip.
Oh!
This is a good football dip. This is not a Thanksgiving app,
But
though.
you don't like dips for football. They don't belong.
Well, now that they're your football food of the week.
And it's your third straight dip.
Oh, I got a much crunchier taco here. This should hold up. Taco number 2.
I'm going to throw you a sports
Oh,
reference.
it is. SMYTH is Smythe. I am the warrior.
Yes, and you ready? I'm gonna knock this one out of the park. She's been married to sports reference John McEnroe for over 25 years.
Okay, so
Have a great day, gentlemen.
Wait a second. Do this for me. So, which one's Patty Smith? Which one's Patty Smythe?
Don't know and don't care.
Patty Smythe is the one who sang Warrior.
Oh.
She also sang a love song with Don Henley, Sometimes Love Ain't Enough. And like I said, sports reference, nerd alert, she's been married to tennis star John McEnroe.
So I don't care. Who cares?
Yeah,
For
okay, we
25
got
years.
it. That's not, we don't care about that. Patty Smythe was the one with Scandal that sings The Warrior.
Yes, that is correct. Correct.
Okay.
My bad.
What's eating you, Gilbert, right?
We get it with the McEnroe reference. How many times are you going to say the McEnroe? That's not what we're looking for. You want to know about the Warrior, the Smythe, the Smith. He keeps going to the McEnroe. Nobody cares.
I don't have anything about that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, Rob honestly there is missing the lead. We're looking for the clarification on Smythe versus Smith and who was in Scandal. And if you drop a factoid, you can't say, let me blow your mind, and then it's not that mind-blowing.
Not mind-blowing. And then to go back to it? And then what really irritated me about that call, what set me over the edge, you guys probably didn't even notice it because you don't speak, Rob.
Nerd alert.
He tried so hard to make himself a drop by doing the nerd alert thing.
Nerd alert.
Epic fail, you loser.
That is why you fail.
The poll question of the day was, which would you rather have at a flight, a crying baby or Russell Wilson walking up and down the aisle stretching his knees? 52% of you said you'd rather have Russell Wilson. The data department tells us the Mraz first flight with Taylor was not as pretty as she screamed the whole time, leading to Mraz to move to another seat, leaving Danielle and Taylor alone. Mraz just bailed.
It's the worst experience of my life.
Who brought in our Wawa Philly cheesesteaks today? It was one Kevin Wall, who is a loyal member of the D-Alien Posse, the Diaper D-Alien Posse. And Kevin Wall is leaving for greener pastures. Got a great job with ESPN Radio up in Bristol, Connecticut. And so congratulations, K-Wall.
Thank you. It's been a good 4 years, but I'm going to miss you guys for sure. So
Well, we're going to miss you too, bud. But you always worked your ass off for us, and I always appreciated the help here.
Thank you.
K-Wall, you have a great one. Thanks for the cheesesteaks. And that'll do it for us. Thanks to Sean Mraz, executive producer. Pete the Body Bilotti of the Wheels of Steel. Andrew Kaplan, the Wizard of Watch DA. And Brad Heller on your headlines. We'll see you tomorrow. The Mothership disconnects.